Hello again, and welcome to the IL Panel, episode 234. I'm this week's host, James, and with me, as always, my two best buddies in the whole wide world, Evan and Michael. Let's start with Michael today, as a courtesy.
Oh, shit.
Michael, how are you doing today, buddy? How's your week? Give us the updates.
My week was okay. Went on a little field trip on Friday.
Oh, where'd you go?
Ashburn, Virginia.
Oh my god.
The new data center tour, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, how was?
It's cool, you know. Racks of equipment and shit, you know.
Heaven, right? You're like so much hardware. I love it.
It looks a lot bigger on the inside than from the outside. It's weird.
Well, it's the dimensional compression, you know.
I mean, it might as well be.
On the outside, it's just a building. On the inside, it's a football field full of shit. Right?
Endless possibilities.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. So went out there, did that. Then went and had lunch at everyone's favorite restaurant, Red Robin.
Yum.
Oh, that's great. You got to go there when the Jameses eat free.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Why? Because James Robin
absolutely.
founded the company?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. There's one day a year. If you're a James, you eat free.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Does that happen to be December 3rd? Just out of coincidence.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I thought it was my birthday on my birthday, but it's not. It's this. I'm trying to remember where it was. I did it once, and they were like, "Yeah, every year James eat free on one day a year." And I happened to go. I happened to hear about it, or I don't know. I ended up going to it that day. Maybe it's for a week. I'm not sure.
I think we need to Snopes that. And if it's true, we have to get fake
Michael's
IDs.
going to Google it and find out.
Yeah.
Michael likes to debunk me as a park pastime, so he'll dig into it. He'll get those details for everybody before the end of the show. Anything else, Michael?
Not really.
How,
Okay.
what was the noise level like and the temperature?
Oh yeah.
Not as freezing as I would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was a little warm. I was a little warm.
And
Michael would be warm in an igloo.
it's like, this isn't working. No.
He's sweating. I'm still sweating.
Come on, people. And then, yeah, lots of equipment, you know, cool stuff. Supposedly, we're not going to be able to directly connect our servers from one rack to another. We have to go through a patch panel that's above the rack. It's above each rack.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So we got a plan for that.
Presumably to maintain airflow integrity under the floor and whatnot, and not make it too cluttered.
Yeah, it's probably for neatness.
Yeah, it's just neatness and stuff. There's no wires under the floor, period. So
Okay.
yeah.
Good. Ours is
So
packed.
all the wire that goes across goes up into the catwalk and then comes down, like up, over, and down like that. Question
Pretty
mark.
much, yeah. Except our wires are going to go up from the rack to a patch panel that's above the rack. Then that panel's
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then
that
across.
patch panel then goes
another
across
patch panel.
all the way over to a rack on the other side. And then
What?
your other
then back.
and then then it goes from there to another that goes all the way back to the rack right next door to the patch panel above that rack.
What? Why?
Honestly, I don't disagree with that. Just so they can ensure like everything goes through a monitored, controlled network. You can't just bypass shit.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like saying, how do I connect the two
nice
computers
to
that are sitting right next to each other? Well, you plug them both into the network ports that are in the panel on your wall, and those both go back to the closet, you know? You don't...
So is this like one of those earthquake-proof, fucking EMP-proof? There's like guys with submachine guns at the door, and there's like it's kind of like a big-ass fancy knock and all that shit in there.
Sort of, except I was a little... I will say this, they do have...
It's like not a single submachine gun to be found.
that is true, actually. I didn't see...
Since I wasn't issued one when I went in, it's not a serious place.
Dude, so they do have They do give you. I mean, we had to be escorted, and we couldn't get our badges this time because of some snafu. Someone didn't submit the right stuff on our behalf, but we were the guy who was escorting us, who works for NOAA. He has to badge at the door, and then put his finger.
Hmm.
And then it lets you in.
Like a blood DNA.
Yep.
Little pinprick.
Now you gotta put your arm in, and it measures your, the veins in your arm. No, okay.
Oh, vascular distancing or whatever.
Wow.
That's
a great name.
So it's badge and fingerprint at the doors, and dude, you go in through the door from the main lobby or whatever, and it's like the door's like there's a sign on it that says "Man Trap." I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And you
have like a double locking doors?
Yeah, you have to go through that door.
So is it the rotating job, or is it?
It's just a hallway.
Airlock?
Yeah, and it's but that door has to close, and then you can open the other door. And dude, me and Ed were just sitting there laughing. We were like thinking of fucking sneakers, because that's that's what that is in that movie. Like they're like, you get to the man trap, and then you got to say, "Hi, my name is Werner Brandis." So, yeah, it's like big guys with guns, but you'll do fine, It's like, okay. Dude, I didn't see any guns there. I was very disappointed, actually.
No sidearms or anything?
The guy behind the glass at the main might as well be you. Like, in a t-shirt. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, okay.
It's like, we like to stay understated here at this facility.
The last time I went to... Now, it's been a very long time since I've been to an actual, data center like this. The last time I went to one, it was armed guards behind bulletproof glass that worked there. That was it. Not Scott. It's like, sup, dude,
Right.
But that's
so I'm new here. You guys want to go in or what?
Yeah, right, exactly. We did sign
My
in on
dad
an
owns a
iPad
dealership.
on an iPad looking device, some kind of tablet. So that was fancy. Oh, and it scanned our driver's licenses Ed took a picture of it, but it took a picture of the barcode on the back. And then it was like, "Oh, you're William Blower, blah blah blah," I was like, "Yep. Okay."
I wonder if you would have still had to do all this if the correct paperwork was submitted.
Oh, they would have issued us badges. So they would have taken our picture and blah and everything and then given us a badge. That way, next time we go there, I could just go there, But hopefully the next time we go there, we'll get our badges.
Yeah. Sounds like you had fun.
Yeah, otherwise you have to be escorted, but that's fine. So, yeah, should be... It was cool. It was cool. Red Robin, I had some kind of barbecue blah whatever burger. That was all right. They asked...
Red Robin has great burgers. Their burgers are great.
They ask you pink or no pink. That's what they ask you.
Okay.
Did they say it like that?
They're like, pink or no pink?
Did you tell them every man loves a warm pink center?
I did not.
Is that what you said? Is that how you answered?
I did not.
Missed opportunity.
You missed an opportunity.
I didn't want to harass the poor waitress.
Was it a female?
It was.
Oh,
she's not people.
Oh.
Revelation! No, I'm just kidding. Jesus God, I'm just kidding, guys.
She was. It was a black young woman, and she was accompanied by a white male.
Oh, was it her first
Probably.
name or something?
It's like, no, he is her. No.
Trapper.
Yeah. I knew. Evan started to laugh, and I was like, "Oh man, here it goes. This is a Trapper comic coming." Oh God.
And I had fried pickles as an appetizer.
Ooh.
And they were the chip kind of pickle, not the spear.
Ooh. All right, who's better, them or Hooters? Whose fried pickles are better?
I don't remember not liking the ones at Hooters. These were good. They were fine.
Were they like a firm disc, or are they oily and kind of loose?
No, they're pretty firm.
That I like. A firm disc is nice.
And they weren't.
It's like you're
and they
describing
weren't, like, burning
stool,
hot, which was nice.
Yeah. Like I'm describing stool. Yeah. Did the crust flake off a lot, or was it like nice and well coated?
It was on there. It was solid.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how your fried pickles got to be. Not floppy, guys. No floppy fried pickles. Nice and firm, not too greasy. Good coating. The coating shouldn't break off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, should be like a well fried pickle chip. That's nice. I like that.
Yep. And yeah.
What kind of pickle could you tell? Just the classic.
Oh yeah, just
classic.
Something like that. So that was Friday, and that's really it. Yeah, not much else going on this past week.
Nice. All right.
Would you be surprised
Evan,
if I told you I've never ordered fried pickles?
Maybe you had them before.
Maybe once.
You're missing out. I like the one at Hooters. There's not a lot of stuff that Hooters sells that I enjoy, but their fried pickles are quite nice.
Okay.
I've never had the fried pickles. I've only been to Red Robin once or twice, maybe.
I think this is the second time I've ever been to one. So.
There's not one around me. I think there's one. The one I want to get, Gaithersburg, I've been to a couple times. Maybe there's one somewhere in Columbia somewhere. I've never been there though.
Don't they have unlimited fries as well? Or did I make that up? Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. How was your week?
My week was
Evan?
honestly quite boring. There was a network outage planned for this weekend in one of the sites. So Friday at like 10 p.m. when they started, there was a whole bunch of like emergency alert tickets that came in, and no one took the time to look at the email or the info alert that went out about the network outage. So there were like managers on the phone, and everyone was panicking. I was like, is there something down right now? And lo and behold, all the paperwork was done, but the monitoring wasn't turned off. And of course, no one reads email, so no one like really knew about it.
Yeah. That's a big problem I noticed in IT, at least I suffer from it, is once you've had either automatic or bulk emails sent out to enough people, it becomes formulaic and people just train themselves to ignore it. They're like, oh, that's another alert message from blah about nothing I care about. And they just, especially when you're getting a lot of emails, like we got to find a better way to alert people of things. I know the Army used to have an alerting system that popped up, but it wasn't allowed to use for something like that, but it was for like, oh, there's an active shooter on the base, like that type of thing. But maybe they need something like that, like, Windows, the thing is gone, and the messaging thing that's gone now, something like that, just to alert people of stuff. Because, dude, it's emails get ignored, especially you see enough emails like automatic ones, they just get ignored.
Yeah, like
or Craig, who's always sending the same fucking email out every week. Fuck you, Craig.
I definitely have a sense of who I should be looking for emails like from. Like if it's from someone on my team or someone who I know, I will very likely read it. If it seems like a generic title from like the ACIO, I'm not going to read that email.
Yeah, me too. Or if it says "do not respond," oh no, I'm already out.
I would like to have every team have like a secretary position who actually keeps track of these things and like will send out, an email once a week or every day or something, like just as a reminder, this is happening tonight, etc.
Yeah. So when I did network outages, and when there was an outage at the IRS at our office, I would send out a message that was like a week before, then that Wednesday, like let's say Monday I'd send a message out, then Wednesday I'd send a message out, then I'd send like 2 messages out on Friday. And then when I was just walking around the office, a small office, I would tell people, oh, the network's going down, blah, blah, whatever. Just because, I got burnt where people, like, didn't know, oh, all the backups are down or whatever like that. So.
But crisis
I realize
averted.
You got to get, like, a positive confirmation from people. And email just doesn't afford you the ability to do that. And I was like, if they put a little box in the corner that said confirm, people would just start checking that box and it'd be ignored anyway. They still wouldn't read the email.
As long as we send out the emails that come out early enough, we're covered. So I'm not.
I mean,
worried about it.
I understand that perspective.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I get it from both sides. There's also too many people involved, so everyone's like, "Oh, someone else is going to do it."
And the thing is, a lot of people, even if you've done your due diligence, you've put out the emails early enough, you've given enough notice, and people still ignored the email, guess what? There's some people who are so high up on the chain of command, it doesn't matter that you were on time where you had to be. If they don't know and they're not aware, there's a problem. You know, because they're so high up, the rules don't matter for them. You know, I'm sure you dealt with those people. You know, I need it now, but there's a process. Nope, I need it now. You know, we've all dealt with those people in IT. It sucks.
Well, thankfully, I don't deal with anything like that anymore. So.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Well, it doesn't exist anymore. It's not a real problem.
It's not a problem for me. I care about me.
Well, isn't it nice?
You and your selfish gaslighting. God.
Yeah, isn't it nice? Yeah, gaslighting the IT community, Michael.
No, I mean, I'm not on the help desk, so it doesn't apply. That's the only place it would apply in my world.
Look at him. He's like, it's not a real issue. Not a problem that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
He's got his.
Other than that, gosh, really nothing. I went to the liquor store. I got 2 bottles of Cabernet, which are awful. I forgot that I don't like it, and then I got.
Why'd you buy them?
Because while I was
Pinkies
at
up.
my LAN in Dallas, one of the other guys was drinking it, and it actually smells really good. It almost smells like sangria, but the taste is like, makes my mouth dry. It's gross. So I also got some Moscato, which I will drink from a Dunkin' Donuts cup.
Moscato's great.
Yeah.
That's like candy.
Nice and sweet.
Look, you take that Cabernet, right, and you get yourself a big-ass pitcher, and you mix a bunch of fruit in there. Then you got something.
I might. My original thought was to just pour it in the toilet, but we'll see what happens.
You can do that, too.
But I also got. I like.
It seems extreme.
There's a grapefruit. Well, I mean, I could pour it down the sink, but then, like, you know, the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever smells like wine. If you pour it in the toilet, it's gone with the water.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But I also tried this Old Smoky Moonshine Blackberry Lemonade. One of these, like,
That sounds
cocktails.
great.
Sounds great, doesn't it? It's gross.
Yeah.
Of course.
What?
Because everything
Really?
that sounds great that has liquor in it is fucking disgusting. Except for the one grapefruit beer that I like, or the orange Bud Light. Those are great.
All right, you need to bring that to the beach, Michael Evan.
But the other 3 of my Old Smoky Moonshine Blackberry Lemonades,
yeah, bring that down to the beach.
I will keep them for a month just so you can too be disgusted.
Somewhere I have a jar of that Old Smoky brand, whatever. It's Pickles. In alcohol.
Oh,
Somewhere I hope is the refrigerator.
that's
Oh no.
He's like in a box.
That's how they.
It's not in a jar. I just put them all in a box.
They're in a jar
under the passenger
in
seat, actually.
my back seat.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know where they are. So.
yeah. That sounds gross. Pickles, alcohol pickles.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, if you want to get trashed,
not,
it's probably
yeah,
good
they're
to
not
get
good.
trashed.
They're not good, but yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
get. I'm pretty sure they're like soaked in like 90% whatever, you know. So
Gross.
I mean, if you're gonna make like a crazy one of those cocktails that takes a pickle, you're gonna have a good time. That's gonna be a good way to go out. Or you make can you make fried pickles with that? They probably burst into flames. Never mind. Yeah.
I mean, we need to try all these things apparently. Also, fun fact: I had pickled eggs for the first time in my life yesterday, and I like them.
yeah, they're great.
I had the ones with beet juice, a little firm on the outside. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I brought those to Jamie's house once or something or somewhere. And everyone's like making fun of me, like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" I'm like, "These are great. Shut up."
He's sitting there clutching a big ass jar. Jesus.
Just puts his whole fist through the mouth of the jar.
Yeah, he's got his hand down the jar, mixing around. Like, I'm gonna get a good one. Jesus,
bobbing
Christ.
for apples.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to trying more. I want to get. I've tried the beet ones, the red ones. I'm gonna try like the ones with like dill and onion pickled
No,
eggs.
I
I think those would be good too.
I don't think I've had that one.
Dill and onion might be good. Might be an interesting.
Yeah. Since we're talking about pickles,
is just too much for me. The pickling, it must have that tartness that pickles
Pickled
have.
sausages.
I've never had those. I don't want that.
Oh,
Michael's had that too,
bro.
Dude, every weird thing that you've seen in a gas station that could be consumed that people are like, nah, I don't eat that. Michael has a jar of it somewhere, or has had a jar of it.
You're not wrong.
Was it the beach and you had the pickled sausages,
yes.
Right? I think so.
Yes, and a jar of it
disgusting.
spilled on the floor of my car.
Oh,
so that was great for like a year.
What?
Oh man!
Can you imagine the heat getting to
that?
that?
How do you get the smell out? I don't know. Like you burn the car, the sour meat.
The
smell.
heat is activating it. Jesus Christ!
Ooh,
that's horrible. Yeah. That was a good time. That Civic has seen some things, man.
It's a trooper.
Guess what? It's still going. It's only got 95,000 miles on it.
That's impressive.
Oh yeah, well, it's a great car. Civics are great cars.
Mm-hmm.
No one's taking that away from it. It's a great car. Great little car.
James, how was your week?
All right. My week was hectic, man. A lot of problems at work. A lot of issues couldn't be fixed. I still have an ongoing issue right now. That absorbed most of my week. Played a new video game, which we're going to talk about. I think we talked a little bit about it last week, Michael.
Okay.
But we're going to talk more about that. And watched a couple shows, saw a movie this week that we'll talk about. But yeah, I mean, it was a busy week with work and all, and fixing issues. Trying to think if there's anything else. No, that's really it. Yeah, that's really it. Nothing else happened. Kept it simple. Chilled out.
James?
Went to the thrift store yesterday. That was interesting.
I want to hear about that because I like sorting through. I like thrifting sometimes.
So
your job,
I like other people's garbage. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. At your job, is there ever an issue where you are the final answer? Like, can you ever not escalate something to someone?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm so low in the totem pole that there's always. I mean, and it's my job is basically to escalate. That's basically my job.
Okay.
So there's not any, like, if I can't fix something, which is quite often, there's the SREs. I can put a ticket in and set the case based on how serious the issue is. And beyond there's engineers, and beyond there's architects, and I'm sure there's somebody beyond there, some SME somewhere in the company who could figure. I mean, that's one good thing about Nutanix. You always have access to help.
Okay.
It's either you have to go ask somebody on Slack and sort through. Matter of fact, one of my questions this week, I had a problem this week. I went on Slack and asked, and I got 26 replies in fucking the first 3 minutes of people all giving me the wrong answer, but they all were trying to help me. So. And right before the show, we were just talking, and I got another guy. He must have seen my question from like Thursday, and was like, "Oh," and he just replied to it today. So, yeah.
Okay. I wonder.
Something else cool. Go ahead,
you go ahead. I'll ask it later.
You sure? No, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about Nutanix and its arch enemy. What is it?
I don't know.
Cohesity. Yes,
EXSI?
And how they use CentOS.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder what they're going to do. Are they just going to start compiling from source now, or what are they going to start doing?
They must.
I don't know what they're going to do. I'm sure they have some plan. They probably have something planned, or they have their own. I don't know.
The plan is to never upgrade again.
Yeah, well, you can't do that. So.
Well, no, they already have like several versions in the pipeline, so I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they're working out a deal. I don't know. It's never mentioned.
But there are new versions of there's Rocky Linux, and there's I think it's called Alma Linux, something like that. And those are projects that are supposed to replace CentOS. So maybe they'll go to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I did learn about a command which I think everyone will find interesting. So we had one of the issues we had was we had a CVM host. So if you don't know what CVM is, it's a controller VM, basically that tells vSphere what in the case of the way people traditionally use Nutanix is basically storage. So it tells vSphere what storage is where. Okay, and it basically kind of spans the storage across these different nodes, right?
Okay.
So this customer had an issue where he was trying to do the upgrade of EXSI through the Nutanix host, through the Nutanix, through the CVM's web page. It's called a Oneclick upgrade. It's much better than the through the VMware upgrade. You just give it the MD5 file, the MD5 checksum, and you give it the zip file, and it patches it for you. You hit go, and it just does rolling restarts, rolling reboots on all the CVMs and hosts, moves all the VMs, puts things in maintenance mode. It does it all. It's pretty amazing, and it's idiot proof. You know, you give it username, password, and then the right the IP address of the first host of the vCenter, and then that's it, and you're done. You know, so basically when he launched his, it was giving us sending us back an error saying these are the wrong VIBs. These VIBs are incompatible, right? And so VIBs are basically the drivers, you know. So there's 4 drivers we had to remove, and if you ever removed a VIB manually, it's a fucking it sucks. Especially network ones are fucking horrible because you have to reboot the host. And rebooting a CVM is a bear. Like, you really don't... You need to do it sometimes, but it just sucks. You know? You got to put the host in maintenance mode, go in, put in the command, and because the Oneclick upgrade tried to upgrade anyway, it stalled out and caused the VM to be in an upgrading state. So when you try to do the proper shutdown command to the CVM, it caused the CVM to not... You couldn't shut it down. So we had to basically pull the plug in vCenter on the CVM, go in, do our changes, shut everything down, reboot it, whatever. The CVM is still hosed, but whatever. And we did that 6 times, you know, for 4 VIBs. It honestly sucked. Well, there's a command that you can use that he was able to use to automate that work. And I don't know if I don't think it's a Nutanix command, but it's a command Nutanix uses heavily in its automation, called I hate fucking saying the acronym, ESXi CLI.
Okay,
so if you're not familiar with that command, it's a really cool command. And that in combination with SSH all or whatever it is, I don't know. It's basically with Nutanix and SSH all, you can put one command in and it will just connect to every CVM. So you use SSH all, the CVM command, ESXi CLI command in there, and it goes boop, 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 and it does everything. It's fucking amazing. The creepy thing is, it does it because it uses 192.168.5.1 or 5.2, which is an internal network that the CVMs use that has to be functioning. And if you're root or you have admin rights on that CVM, it assumes you have access to everything. So as soon as you run that command, it just circumvents all security protocols. It goes duck, 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 and it's all the way at the bottom, dude. This is all the way at the fucking bottom. It is a fucking shady ass command. It's cool. It makes your life easy as fuck. But boy, if you have fucking wrong access or illegal access, you can really fuck shit up. It's cool though. It's cool. All right. That was more like a stranger danger, but, you know.
I like it.
It was very interesting. That's why I wanted to mention it. It was like an interesting part of my week.
It's so weird, because I've used Nutanix a little bit, but I've never used Nutanix, and I've used VMware, but I've never used them together. So.
And that's how that normally is in the wild. I'm surprised you don't use it.
No, we're using whatever, what is it called, AHV?
Yeah, AHV is great, by the way. That's what that's what everyone should be using.
That's what they're using. So, but over at NOAA or at Fisheries, I got some VMware stuff going on, and I've been using, if I need to SSH or whatever. I mean, it's kind of hard to do because you're supposed to keep SSH off on your hosts, for security reasons. Yeah. So usually what I use is Power CLI.
Mm-hmm.
And you can install the VMware stuff on your local machine for Power CLI, and then you can use the commandlets. And so it's the same thing like that ESX CLI command. It's like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So Nutanix, you have to have SSH on. That's one thing. You have to put that in your SSP or whatever. You have to mitigate that. Because you have to have it on.
You have to. It's a big problem for the government. Risk.
Yeah, you have to accept the risk.
And we have SSH turned off, so. Which is annoying because you have to do something. You're like, all right, let me log into the web GUI, go turn on SSH. Cool. Now I can SSH in, do what I need to do. All right, then go turn it off. Or I think after a reboot, it turns itself off. But that's how we've set.
And fucking dude, VMware does not make anything easy. Everything's a fucking math quiz. If you know it, fine, but you can't just walk off the street and start using it. Anybody can walk off the street and have a basic understanding of HV. It's really the ideal system
to me, VMware is not that hard, but what do I know?
I mean, yeah, you're big fucking nerd. Of course you are. Your nerd is hanging out.
Oh, dude, that's like one time I was working with someone else on the help desk. He's like, "Man, you're such a geek." I'm like, "What the hell are you?" Like, we all work at the help desk, man. Like, what's going on? Like,
I know I have no room to talk since I just glowingly went on about EXSI CLI for like fucking 5 minutes, but still.
Yeah, it's so funny you're talking about VIBs. I was like, yeah, I know what a VIB is. I was just
I know, man.
updating crazy, some the other day on a bunch of servers. Yeah.
Dude, I'm talking to the architect. I was explaining the plan to the architect on our weekly update meeting. I was telling everybody because the problem was still broken. It still's not working. And I was telling him, he's like, well, what VIBs? And he's like, oh, well, you're probably not going to know what VIBs. I was like, QEDI, QEDF, QEDE, NVT, QEDE. He's like, you know them? I was like, yeah, I can't. Dude, I was on that call for 8 hours, bro. It was an 8-hour teleconference. I fucking remember the fucking VIBs.
So obviously they make drivers and stuff for those nodes that Nutanix uses for VMware. Huh. Interesting. I guess Nutanix must make that,
so Nutanix has some accepted patches, right? But for the most part, the VMware patches work fine, and I've never seen a bad VIB interaction. There's a problem with 6.5, 6.7, and 7.0 where when you do an upgrade on using the Oneclick upgrade on Nutanix, it causes this problem to happen. But it's a VMware problem, not a Nutanix problem. Something about VMware's whole shit causes this issue.
Well, it's probably like, what are you doing?
Because VMware...
It's like, you're not supposed to be doing it this way, guy. Huh?
Probably, but if you run it, if you use VUM to install them, or you do them via command line, it breaks the VIBs that Nutanix uses. And the thing is, Nutanix is such a fucking trooper, it'll just keep going, even with those VIBs broken. But you need to fix them at some point, you know what I mean? So we want people to use the Oneclick or go through in CLI to install them or whatever through our command line, but we don't want them using VUM because you cannot. And this is, I look at it, I'm sure no Nutanix person will say this, but I'm saying this. I don't want people to use the Nutanix system as though it doesn't exist, because it does exist. It's there. It bases the backbone of the whole shit. VMware is just sitting on top of it. And doing a piss poor job at that, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know.
We use VMware Update Manager, obviously, or VUM, as you say. To keep our things up to date. Generally, if it's like, it's a new patch version, like Update F or whatever. You know.
On a VMware system, it's perfectly fine to use VUM, but VUM ignores the Nutanix VIBs. You're not going to get the Nutanix VIBs in the patches. They just don't include them. So you need to have either the Nutanix approved versions, or if you can't find Nutanix approved versions, then you use the VUM versions, but you do it through the Oneclick upgrade. So it helps it ignore the Nutanix VIBs and doesn't delete them or whatever it does to them. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Look at you guys being all smart about IT.
Dude, it's, I'm spouting all this stuff, and it's kind of weird to me coming out of my mouth, because when you guys start talking about IT, I normally want to fall asleep. But I've had 3 cups of coffee today, so that's probably what it is. All right, let's jump into the next thing here.
Yeah, so
what
nothing
do you got?
nothing
Olympics?
specific to talk about except the Olympics started. They had the opening ceremony this past Friday. Apparently, they started.
You know what me and Evan want to know? When is that? When is our sport starting?
What's our sport?
It's already started.
Ooh.
Well, indoor at least.
Oh, which one? Volleyball?
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching an outdoor one yesterday.
Okay.
I need the outdoor one.
The women.
I need the outdoor one. That's the one.
But it was only. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about volleyball, obviously. So the one I was watching was 2 women versus 2 women.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like a team of like 17 people on each side. So I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Michael.
I don't think the large, like 6 versus 6, is in the Olympics, but I could be wrong. It's always been 2v2 as far as I've been keeping up with it.
Oh, okay. Well, the one I watched it was U.S. versus China.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy,
Classic
how was the
matchup.
Chinese team? Chinese team, the youngest and most supple cheeks.
Dude, I was surprised at how old. I mean, that doesn't matter. They did a great job and everything was fine. But I was surprised how old the U.S. players were. I didn't know they allowed people over the age of 30 in the Olympics. One of the women was 31. The other one was 39. I was like, 39? Oh, my God.
Female beach volleyball players are like fucking always. Americans are always like grizzled, super muscular, striated, like fucking like. It's like Mia Hamm if she was taller.
I thought it was like after age
fair,
19, it was all downhill or something. I don't know.
No. They always look like that. I think volleyball is one of those sports you could be older. Like you can be in your 40s and still, if you're in right shape.
Well, like I said,
definitely.
But the Chinese ones
did a great job. So.
Dude, the Chinese ones are always like 19, 20, fucking just like a little bouncy.
I didn't get the deets on the Chinese ones. So, but
you're slipping.
Well, they didn't provide them, and I didn't do my own deep dive. So. But U.S. won. They won. I don't know if that was a like they won the gold, or I don't know how it works, or if they had to if that's like the game 1 of 17 that they got to go through, or I don't know how it works. But they won that one at least. So
We'll have to catch some highlights. I know some of the other U.S. teams have not been doing well, such as the men's basketball team lost their first game since 2004.
To who? Who did they lose to?
I don't recall.
No, I don't know.
It probably is some other. It probably is some fucking
George Marason fucking team. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's some shit motherfuckers like that, yo.
It's like Grotrian from half court.
I saw that the U.S. gymnastics team was. They didn't do. I mean, they haven't played yet, or whatever, or whatever, competed yet, whatever you call it. But they're doing the qualifications. And they didn't. Normally, they're always number 1 in the qualifications, and apparently, didn't go so well.
Number 2.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
U.S. did poorly across the board. First day, not a single medal.
Well,
it's unfortunate.
From what I heard, yeah, they did. They had a poor. I'll be honest with you. I've never cared. I've never given it. I've never been like, we got the medal. I don't give a shit.
Some guy from Maryland won a medal.
Great.
I don't know what sport, but
probably something like speed knitting or some dumb shit. Outdoor speed summer knitting or some shit like that. I don't care.
Skateboarding's a sport.
I
never
disagree.
Cared.
Well, it is this Olympics, and Tony Hawk's over there. He's like.
I still disagree.
Tony Hawk's like 68 years old.
He's over there.
Yeah.
He's not competing. But he's over there.
No.
Let me have my musil, whatever.
Muesli?
Metamucil. Let me have my Metamucil, and I'll get on this board
Mucilix.
and shred. Mucilix. Yeah, he's very stuffed up over there.
Yeah.
The Tokyo Air's got him stuffed.
And someone from the U.S. I think got a second place. Got a silver medal.
Skateboarding?
Yeah. I forget who. I think it was a guy from Japan got gold.
We fucking invented skateboarding.
Yeah,
bro.
it should be like Bill Burr said, a dirty white boy from fucking Santa Monica or something. Like.
Yeah.
I think skateboarding.
We invented volleyball.
Did we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Didn't the Mayans invent volleyball?
with the head.
Using a head or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just precipitating urban legends. I don't really know.
Human head.
Yeah.
But I think skateboarding should stay in the X Games. Thank you very much. Same thing with snowboarding.
This isn't the first year that skateboarding's been in there,
It is
right?
the first
No.
year.
Oh, shit. I can't believe the U.S. didn't win. We failed. Oh, well. All right. Anything else in the Olympics?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to watching some swimming.
How was the opening event? Was it good? Was the opening thing
Didn't watch
good?
it.
Oh, that's the whole shit. That's why you watch the Olympics. The opening and closing ceremonies.
They broadcast it live at 7 a.m. on Friday. So.
Yeah, no, I mean it's obviously not.
But they replayed it later, but I didn't watch it yet.
I didn't watch it either. I'll go back and look at it.
I've never cared about the opening or closing ceremonies. I don't need to watch people walk through a stadium with music being played. Not interested.
No, I mean they have like some fucking that part I don't care about, but like one year they did the drones. Remember they have the drones?
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. And then China had all the fucking fireworks and crazy shit. I mean every year they try to always outdo
My mom
the other
mentioned
countries.
there were drones in this one also.
Okay, all right.
I think it's a waste of resources, but that's personal opinion.
That's cool. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't care about the Olympics. I never really cared about it. I think I'm interested in the opening ceremony, but I don't give a shit. You know, it would be cool if they instead of Olympics they did like a faux war. You know, between all the nations. You know, everybody got together and had a big war, and then we would just see who won, and they'd give them a gold medal for winning the war.
That's the idea.
Wasn't the Olympics used to settle disputes?
I mean, it's a competition, Michael.
It is a competition.
We're not here to make friends. Look.
They're also supposed to be naked, so you know.
Get on that.
Yeah.
I want to see some dongs.
Naked strapping
I want to see
men.
some dongs flying. All right.
Dude, I was talking to somebody in Discord. I was like, we're talking about the pentathlon, and I was like, isn't that the fucking naked, greased up men one? And they're like, yeah. I googled it, and it sure enough is. It's you have naked fucking Roman men, swarthy Roman men covered in grease, fighting each other over a discus or whatever. I was like, Jesus.
But the new one is the one we were talking about last week. The new pentathlon.
Yeah. That's right. That's why we were talking about it. We were talking about the new pentathlon. Yeah,
fencing,
that's right. Yeah.
Swimming, equestrian show jumping. What? Yeah. And a final combined event of pistol shooting and cross country running. So
like everything
it's everything you need for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Include equestrian show jumping.
You
get to ride a horse you've never met before. You know that? You don't bring your own horse.
That's kind of weird. Instead of having, like, the thing is, like, they have the air rifle. We lost at the air rifle thing. Instead of having, like, the air rifle, it's such a weird competition. Why not shoot real guns? Mm-hmm. There's nowhere in the world where you're, in life where you're like, I need my air rifle. Like, just have real guns. Why don't they have 3-gun there? 3-gun would be cool. Americans would dominate the shit out of that, at least for the first 20 years. You know?
Was that
there's so many countries like,
rifle
guns.
Or something?
Yeah, pistol shotgun rifle. Yeah, 3-gun would be great. Have you watched 3-gun before? It's an amazing fucking sport to watch.
No, is it like close quarter combat cool. Demonstrations or like John Wick highlight reel stuff?
Yeah, basically.
You know, I didn't know
it's less fucking awesome looking as
it's not even an air pistol anymore. There's no projectile. It's a laser.
Get the fuck out of here.
Why
I'm reading it right here.
It
says until 2009, the shooting discipline involved firing a 4.5 millimeter air pistol. The format, blah blah blah. Beginning with the Rancho
out of the Olympics.
Mirage World Cup, February 2011, the pistol changed to a laser instead of an actual projectile.
Trash.
What?
Why?
Fucking trash.
What?
It's like we want to remove most of the skill from this competition.
No, you gotta be like, they didn't want to, create some kind of James Bond thing where it's like, all right, someone paid one of the, they're blackmailing one of the one of the athletes. It's like you got to turn and shoot one of the guys in the stand. You know.
I hope that's not it. I hope that's not.
Or we'll kill your
4mm round.
Yeah, or we'll kill your family.
It's like blink. I was like, oh god, what? It's like, what is going on?
Someone throw popcorn at me? Fuck.
Yeah. Exactly. Somebody threw popcorn at me. I don't.
So that's crazy.
I hope that's not why. They should just take it out. Honestly, take it out. It's not even shooting anymore. Just take it out. Get rid of it. They're lucky people don't know what the fuck. Like most people, I don't think care. The Olympics are like not the Grammys. The fucking like the Grammys. They're like these award shows. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a thing that happens every year that nobody cares about.
I still think they should have fucking waited till next year. Because shit is still locked down over there. People are still getting COVID. And, and no one can be there. Like, even, like, all the Olympians and their stuff, like, their families are still back home. They can't be there.
I mean, Japan...
Japan's losing so much money. Because, no one can... How many tourists are they going to have because of that? It's going to be crazy. And no one could be there.
Japan is losing... they lost so much money, I think they're probably like, we can't wait anymore, bro. We got to do something.
I guess.
Because they're just losing their fucking... They're losing
But if they had waited till next year, then maybe they could have opened it up to everyone,
Maybe, but just think about all the people who built those fucking places and worked on those things under the thought that, we're going to make all our money back this year coming up. We're going to get all this money back. And now they got to wait 2 years? Dude, those motherfuckers want their money back. And they probably are putting pressure on the government. Hey, look, dude, you got to do something. You got to do something. I guarantee it wouldn't surprise me if Japan tries to do something next year, too. Like, we see some kind of, like, big, like, tourism bonus or something. Some kind of push to get people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've lost so much fucking money on this and taken such a political hit. Mm-hmm. So there's protesters right now. Like, every day there's been a protester outside the Olympics.
Yeah, I saw...
Outside the Olympics. But, like, on the street and shit. Be like...
I saw that.
Japan is like a fucking... It's like Mars, dude. Those motherfuckers, they don't want you there. They're like, get your fucking non-Japanese ass out of here. You're bringing COVID here. Dude, they said, Chris Broad, the guy who does Abroad in Japan, which is a great old YouTube channel, but he said during COVID that, he would go to a place and it'd be like, no foreigners, because foreigners bring COVID.
Mm-hmm.
There's signs on the door. And he saw a thing on TV show that showed they had a piece of tissue paper in front of the person's mouth, and it was like a side view, and it was like, this is how Japanese talk, and the paper didn't move, but they said, this is how foreigners talk, like, hello, Paul, pa, pa, poo. And the paper would deflect, and they're like, see, foreigners are very loud,
mm-hmm.
and they put more air out, causing the spread of COVID faster. So, you got to remember how Japanese people are. That's a very insular nation.
It does not surprise me.
Yeah.
So, guess where the next Olympics are going to be?
Dubai?
Please say Wichita, Kansas.
Beijing.
Again in China? Why in China twice in a row?
The Winter Olympics are going to be in China. Beijing 2022.
They had summer last time, didn't they? Didn't they have summer last time?
China, Beijing 2008 was the Summer Olympics. I mean,
so Beijing gets
yeah, that was the Summer Olympics. Now it's going to be the Winter Olympics.
Why? DC's had Olympics once.
When did DC have the Olympics?
Fucking 1984 or something? How come Beijing gets it twice in less than fucking 15 years?
Well, Los Angeles is going to get it.
Why?
So Paris gets it 2024, and Los Angeles gets it 2028.
When's the last time Los Angeles got it?
Actually, didn't they have it there not that long ago?
No.
I don't think so.
I think the Olympics was in like Vail, Colorado once or something like that.
It says it'll be the first Summer Olympics to be held in the U.S. since the 1996 ones in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Jewell. And
yeah, so America's getting screwed. Why DC's getting screwed? Beijing gets it fucking twice. I don't understand. Dude, all this catering to China's got to stop.
I mean, let them spend all the money on the fucking facilities.
Nobody's going anyway. Doesn't matter. It's China.
True.
We'll be at war with them by then anyway.
And they're made of cardboard, so fuck it. They should just build an Olympic island and just always have it there. They can reuse everything.
I mean, I bet you they're gonna. Apparently, the stadiums, the Olympic stadiums that they built last time, just stand empty, never used for anything.
Let's see. We had Salt Lake City 2002. Forgot about that completely.
Yeah.
Los Angeles 1984. So there you go. There's your 1984.
DC?
There was no DC.
Yeah, there was. 100%. Yes, there were. There's signs in DC still about the Olympics. If you drive down 295, you'll see them. Maybe it's World Cup.
I don't know. But do you really want like another 500,000 people showing up in DC for a week?
No.
Let's see.
Oh, they tried to get it in 2024. There are signs downtown about the Olympics, though.
Let's see. We've had Missouri, Lake Placid, New York, Los Angeles, Squaw Valley, California, Lake Placid, New York again, Los Angeles, California, Atlanta, Georgia, Salt Lake City, and it will be Los Angeles, California in 2028.
If it's still standing.
There was the one in Montreal in 1970, something. My mom said she went to something there. Some event.
Why can't they have the Olympics every year? I can only imagine the disappointment of training, doing something so intense for at least 4 years, and then like, what if you roll your ankle or some shit goes wrong? It's just like,
well, they're all competing in all kinds of stuff all the time, I think, right?
You're probably right.
It's just not the Olympics, you know. Which, yeah, I get it. It's like the top one, you know, of course. But yeah, you know, there's lots of like, oh, this is the world championship of blah, and you know, they have all kinds of stuff. So, at least for most of the stuff. Yeah, man. Fun stuff.
Jeez, the Olympic Wikipedia is fucking long.
Well,
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, I'm looking at an article, United States at the Olympics. So that has all the ones listed here in recent history.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been in D.C. I made that up, I guess.
I was like, it was in D.C.? I didn't know that.
Huh, I thought it was in D.C. in the 80s. There are signs. Was it Special Olympics? I don't know, man. I don't know. As usual, I've been debunked. Michael debunked me again. I'm depressed now. Let's move on to the next topic here. What do we got, Michael? What's this next one here? If it's Washington Post, I know it's from you.
Oh, yeah. So, I just thought this was interesting because I didn't know that we could do this yet as a society. You know, I didn't know our level of technology had arrived here. So,
is this about cloud seeding?
Sort of.
That's
so it says it's so hot in Dubai, the government is paying scientists to make it rain. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, apparently shit is crazy over there. So,
go figure. It's like a desert nation. So it's kind of hot. It's kind of warm. You guys think?
They said it usually gets 4 inches of rain a year normally. So nothing. Washington, D.C. gets 45 inches of rain per year, usually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, there's a video here embedded from Instagram that's a downpour in the UAE, here in Dubai, that they caused. They created it by launching drones and zapped the clouds with electricity. Wow. It says jolting.
Odin has returned.
You're right. It says jolting droplets in the clouds can cause them to clump together. The larger raindrops that result then fall to the ground instead of evaporating midair, which is often the fate of smaller droplets in the UAE, where the temperatures are hot and the clouds are high. So they're too high up, so that by the time they get down, they're... Makes sense.
It's just physics.
It makes sense. Yeah. So, how about that? Pretty interesting.
Good for them.
Yeah. So that's really it for that one. I actually saw this story the other day, and then one of our friends brought it up last night in a text chat. The practice of swatting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I don't know. This guy who lived in Tennessee, he has the Twitter handle Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, pretty good, huh? And for whatever reason, some group of people wanted it. They're like, "Give it up, bro." And he's like, "No, fuck you." And so they started harassing him and his family. And it ended up by them swatting him, so having a SWAT team come to his house, under false pretenses. And the whole thing is that he died of a heart attack.
During the swatting?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hopefully all of those harassers go to jail for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the legal system takes swatting seriously now.
Yeah, they do. There's all kind of legislation against it, or they're trying to legislate against it. I mean, whatever. I think it's, targeted harassment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like at least one of the people involved was sentenced in a Memphis court to 5 years in prison.
Okay.
He's 20 years old.
Of course.
Piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Idiot.
It says here that this guy, his last name is Sonderman, targeted at least 5 people and attempted to pressure them to sell him their social media handles. So he's done this to more than one person. Interesting. And there's a co-conspirator who's a minor, and he's in the United Kingdom. Interesting.
I guess they'd probably get the candle and then sell it to the state of Tennessee or some shit like that.
Probably.
Or some celebrity, see who wants it. They just hold on to it and see who wants it. Maybe they have a website, but they put it up for sale. That sucks. That's fucked up.
Yep. It's fucked up. All right.
What do we got next here?
So I just saw this story in passing, and I was like, oh, it did happen. So we had talked about this a while ago. There was a case going before the Supreme Court. Basically, this guy got arrested and convicted of murder or something, and his lawyer was appealing the conviction, saying, "Wait, that's illegal." No, they're saying
it's like, just can you not? Thanks.
They said that you don't have jurisdiction to prosecute him, right? Because in reality, half of the state of Oklahoma still belongs to the Indians. Based on
that sounds kind of familiar.
Based on the 1849 Treaty of blah and whatever,
Did that work?
So according to this, so this article says complete dysfunctional chaos. Oklahoma reels after Supreme Court ruling on Indian tribes. So it says right here the Supreme Court's landmark decision in this person's last name is great, McGirt versus Oklahoma, not McGurk, but McGirt with a T, but yeah, versus Oklahoma said prosecution of Native Americans for crimes in the expanded Indian country must be carried out in federal and tribal courts rather than by state or local officials. It says it was celebrated across the country by Native Americans last July, who saw it as a historic affirmation of treaties signed with the U.S. government in the 1800s. So something actually did become of that. I had never heard what happened, you know? Like, we heard, like, oh, it's going to the Supreme Court. We'll see what happens. And that was it.
Does it say it like that? Does it say in the 1800s?
It does say that. I mean, if we wanted to dig in, there's a link here in the article to the decision, and it takes you to supremecourt.gov and a 20-page PDF that goes through the whole thing. So all the details are there.
I think the way they worded it is kind of like not good, you know? Like, that's a legally binding treaty that the U.S. just chose to ignore because it was convenient. I'm glad they fucking found it for the Indians. Yeah. This gives them a ground. This gives the Indians grounds to start fucking collecting rent if they want to be fucking gangster about it. You know, which they should. They should fucking go all the way to the court and force the U.S. to fucking deal with it. Even if it's not going to come out in their favor, which it won't, but they should force them to deal with it because they need this treaty violation needs to be like fucking all over the news. You know, it's like more broken U.S. promises, more bullshit, more lies, you know. And the thing is, there's so many laws we run around with every day that are from the 1800s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can't disvalidate that one because you're like, it's inconvenient, you know.
Yep, exactly. So it's funny, reading more into this article, it says the fallout has exacerbated long-standing tensions between Oklahoma's Republican governor, Kevin Stitt, who is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, interesting, and the leaders of 5 tribes involved. And it says the governor held a community forum on the issue this month that degenerated into raucous shouting, with attendees booing and chanting, "Treaties are the law of the land." So there you go. And then another guy says, we are living a nightmare out here. It's complete dysfunctional chaos in the state of Oklahoma. Yeah, fuck them. You know, just like you said.
Mike, you represent both sides of this. Why don't you go mediate?
Oh, I'm both a white Republican and a member of...
Yeah. And the Native American tribe.
Yeah, I'm a member of the diaspora. No.
Uh-huh.
It's a word I've never used before. Oh.
Yeah, diaspora. That was the name of that social media app that failed because the name was too complicated. No one could spell it. Diaspora. I'm not joking about that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's because the name was too complicated to spell. I think it was just people were like, I don't know what that is. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing.
So anyway, yeah. So just interesting that this came up, and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, good. Glad we could close the loop on that, at least somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
This
justice is returning to this nation.
That's right.
All right. Now we're back to an article I can read. Thank you. No more Washington Post articles.
I'm pretty sure Mike has given you his Washington Post login several times.
You know, we're going to have a conversation about the Washington Post articles when it shows up.
Yeah, okay.
Let's continue.
It's like not in front of the kids.
So, this article I saw, actually someone posted it on one of the pages I follow on Facebook. And the article is, a UK warship enters the South China Sea despite Chinese warnings. Okay? And the ship, which is one of those future ships, is the HMS Defender, a Type 45 destroyer. And it's part of the HMS Queen Elizabeth's Carrier Strike Group. All right. So...
looks cool.
Yeah. It is, like it says here, a Type 45 destroyer, which James and I read a series of books where they have in the books they have a Type 47 destroyer, which I guess that's supposed to represent this, or something very close to it.
Do you see the third line in this thing? The vessel sailing as a part of the Carrier Strike Group 21 deployment Is that supposed to be centered?
I think so. It says
Swinward.
It's like Soon
I was like, is this a British word? Is this like aluminium?
Right.
Is this or is this just a gross misspelling of a typo?
James,
okay,
that's how you spell Wednesday.
yeah, exactly. And then it says China claims almost all of the 1.3 million square miles South China Sea as its sovereign territory, and it has denounced the presence of foreign warships there as the root of tensions in the region. Okay. Yeah.
Don't you love how large nations get so offended when like no one listens to them or obeys their rules, but then they're like they turn the corner and ignore everyone else?
Well,
it's just the way of things.
The funny thing is, China is notorious. They are a notorious line stepper.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't talk about this in America because our news cycles are just garbage. But dude, they've been in a like kind of a Cold War with fucking India for years over their border. Where
Yep.
China pushes in a little bit, and then India pushes back, and it goes back and forth. With India. That's the whole reason India's like, yo, U.S. What a boy, That whole area is fucking toxic, man. And China, so I think Japan is like, yeah, that's ours. Japan has beef with these guys over an island chain. Obviously, Taiwan is right over there, which China's like, that belongs to us, B. That's ours, even though that's a totally its own place. And actually, that represents old China, There's a bunch of countries over there that are like, yo, please come over here and help us out.
Yeah.
Like, I want somebody to acknowledge Taiwan as a country and really piss them off. Like, just say, yeah, China's a place, like, Taiwan is a place. Yeah, it exists.
You see what...
Didn't the country do that recently? Maybe it was just like Switzerland or someone not important.
It probably was something like that, yeah. But, I mean, I think it's important to be like... To look at to like stop kowtowing to China. China is really like a big-ass international bully, who's trying to get their way at every possible opportunity.
So is the U.S.
Well, yeah, Mike, but we can't have more than one.
U.S. is the same way, but the difference between the U.S. and China is we're not surrounded by other countries. We're not in some kind of Cold War with Canada over the fucking Pacific. And same with Mexico.
Yes, they have they have bowed to us.
Yeah, they know their place. I'm not going to go that. Oh man, it's kind of racist. The sea between Korea and China is called the Yellow Sea. Ooh, it's 2021, guys. Updated.
Yeah, do better. No.
Yeah, do better. But no, look, South China Sea. So what's over there? Vietnam's there. Cambodia's near there. What is this? Indonesia. All of the Indonesian island chain is all... Well, they're a little south of that. Philippines is right in it. And Taiwan is right there. And obviously the end of Japan, Fukuoka, and South Korea touches it. So yeah, man, it's a... these guys they're a bully, but they're really like... China's like a fat kid at the playground. Really big fists, seems dangerous, but really they're just some fat motherfucker out there, and if you just stood up to him and maybe kicked him in the kneecaps, he'd be like, oh, well, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember, Japan shit on these boys for many, many years. Like, shit on them big time. They shit on that whole country. So, like, straight dookie. To the point that Japanese people are fucking... They hate Japanese people to this fucking day.
Yep.
They hate people. They hate Chinese people. Chinese people hate Japanese people like fucking... I don't know. Like black people should hate white people over slavery, but don't. It's like that. It's like that serious.
I mean, it was a long time ago, James.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, you got to forget those things.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend it never happened.
Listen to this, though, okay? Aircraft carriers, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. has 11 in service.
Mm-hmm.
The next closest country is no one.
Nobody.
China has 2.
Yeah.
Italy has 2 for some reason. United Kingdom has 2.
And I'm sure China has one that they built, and then one of them's like a retired Russian one, I think.
Yeah, it could be.
Russia, how many Russia have? Russia has like 1 or 2, right?
1.
1. There you go.
That's so surprising to me that the U.S. only has 11. I would have guessed the number would be in the low 30s.
Well, Evan, listen to this.
No.
We have 11. We have 55 that have been decommissioned.
Okay.
I mean, that could be,
So,
from World War I,
assuming
World
they're
War
still
II,
intact.
God knows what, right? They could be really old.
I mean, they sold a bunch of them, but
United Kingdom has 41 that are decommissioned. China has 0 that are decommissioned.
Okay.
So they're just getting started. We're like way past them.
yeah, you gotta imagine. I mean, and look, I don't want to see this in my lifetime, but can you imagine like China, a Chinese carrier strike group going up against a U.S. carrier strike group?
Good luck.
Like, it'd be crazy because we have so much skill and we've been doing this shit for so long all over the world. I mean, and you say 11 is not that many, but you got to remember a carrier strike group has like 2 submarines and 2 destroyers and like support vessels and fucking all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? It's like a whole like fucking. This thing says 7,500 people across. I don't know. They don't say how many ships, but 65 to 70 aircraft. We're out here shitting on motherfuckers, yo. We're bad boys. I don't like imperialism, and I don't like what the U.S. has become, but fucking we're bad motherfuckers, yo. Not to be fucked with. Not even to mention, can you imagine if there is a Chinese submarine? Can you imagine what our submarines would do to it? With all the knowledge that we've accumulated over years of fucking having sub fights and fucking sneaking around fucking with Russians and them fucking with us, and then World War II and seeing what the fucking Germans did and what we learned from that. Can you imagine? Like, there's so much knowledge and doctrine to bring to bear that people don't. You could go buy yourself a submarine or build a fucking shitty aircraft carrier, but if you don't know how to use it, you don't have any skill sets built. I mean,
I can't wait for the next Blitzkrieg. Am I right?
Yeah.
We need Biden to just be like, fucking send it all.
Yeah, at least 1 cruiser, a destroyer squadron of at least 2 destroyers or frigates, a carrier air wing of 65 to 70 things. It's fucking crazy, dude.
It's like, fighters, choppers, fucking missiles, fucking, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, here they go. Carrier strike group normally consists of 1 aircraft carrier, 1 guided missile cruiser for air defense, 2 lamps-capable warships, whatever the fuck that is, focus on anti-submarine or surface warfare, 1 to 2 anti-submarine destroyers or frigates.
Land air missile platform, perhaps?
Must be. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Land air missile platform. Ooh, my Evan. Ooh, what are you, an acronym maker? I like that.
And I put a link, so I was interested in this article for a few reasons, just because it's cool, like, Navy, military shit, but also because it's specifically the Type 45 destroyer, which I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I put a link in the show notes at the very bottom, in the extra section, to the kind of the U.S. version of that ship, but not really, but kind of the Zumwalt class destroyer.
Oh, is this the same as the Zumwalt?
It's
the
similar.
same deal?
It's not really the same, but it's very similar.
I thought the Zumwalt was retired before he
No,
came out.
we got
with the railgun.
We
or
got
whatever.
3 of them. But they canceled them.
But it's like
they canceled them already.
It's an expensive
Yeah,
debacle.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Apparently, they were gonna have a gun installed on it, but then they're like, there's something called the Long Range Land Attack Projectile System or whatever, LRLAP. It says LRLAP procurement was canceled, so it's special ammunition. So they had the guns, but then they canceled the ammunition, so the guns are useless. So it's like, so the Navy repurposed the ships for surface warfare. Yeah, it's supposed to have the whole boat was designed around advanced gun systems. Naval artillery system developed and produced by BAE Systems for the Zumwalt class destroyer. But it was like, I guess it's a debacle.
I mean, I want them to bring the battleship back. Let's bring battleships and dreadnoughts back.
It says only one ammunition type was designed, and the Navy halted its procurement due to cost $800,000 to $1 million per round.
What?
It's like each round is a nuclear missile. Like, what the hell, you know? Like,
Is it really?
No.
Was it? No.
It's just, I'm saying, price-wise. So, yeah, the advanced gun system has no ammunition and cannot be used. Awesome. They shot for the... they say, like, he shot for the moon. These guys shot for the sun, man. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. So the Zumwalt class is supposed to replace the Arleigh Burke class of destroyers, but because they've stopped production of the Zumwalt class, they're going back and building more Arleigh Burke destroyers. They're like, all right, let's go back.
Are those based on a very old design, like from the early 70s or something? I'm assuming they can retrofit stuff, of course, but
nah, they're from. Started building them in 1988.
It's kind of old.
What is this fucking Twitter handle who's doing this?
Showing the location?
Alert 5? Yeah. Go look at Alert 5's Twitter feed. It's all locations of ships. Of British warships. All over the world.
Military news from around the world.
It's like RFA Victoria Fort Victoria headed towards Port Klang. That's fucking weird. Is that in Klingon? In fucking Romulus or something? Port Klang! The clock will talk! Yeah.
Well, it looks like here is getting, here's a flight. So they're getting that from Flight Radar 24, live air traffic. Okay. There's a similar thing for boats, but I'd be very surprised if we could access that data for...
Wait, don't you work for NOAA, Michael? Get us a hookup for this so we can watch boats. I know you must have a password. Get us hook us in. Hook us into that system.
Just turn SSH on and let us have at it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to...
I bet we know somebody who does this, right? Somebody who does this. You should show this to your buddy.
Go to marinetraffic.com or vesselfinder.com. There you go.
Is that where it came from?
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there are boats on here.
No, but you know who you should give this to your buddy. Show her. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
Your buddy. Show this to your buddy.
Oh, yeah.
She'll fucking shit if she sees... How do they get that data? This is a violation of something. I'm going to call someone.
That's right. This is the... Apparently not. Apparently this is the thing.
Maybe it's public information, but I'm surprised that warship data is public information. That's very surprising to me.
I would be surprised at that as well. Vesselfinder.com, free AIS data.
Unless maybe it's a little inaccurate, or it's pushed off a little bit, or it's old data.
Like here's one for the Ever Given, 11 minutes ago.
So is that the same data?
It looks very similar.
What's
Vesselfinder.com. I'll put it in the show notes. Vessel Finder. Everyone can go track boats.
Oh yeah, this is it. They have the Ever Given here. Is that ship still around?
I think they're all Ever something, right?
No, Ever Given is the ship that got stuck in the fucking thing.
Is it?
You don't recognize that name?
Dude, I know it was Ever something. I don't fucking remember.
Jesus, Michael, you suck. Yeah, that's the ship that got stuck in the fucking
Panama Canal.
Oh my God, Panama Canal. Panama.
You're both wrong.
No,
the Suez Canal.
Yeah, that one.
The Suez Canal.
You know what? I'm allowed to forget the canal if you forgot the name of the boat. You turd.
James.
Where's the Panama
in all due
Canal?
fairness, is it in Panama?
It says Rotterdam. I thought it was in Japan. Oh, that must be where it's going.
No, that's its... Oh, I thought that was its... where it hails from. No, whatever.
I thought the Ever Given was owned by some Japanese people. They made a big deal about them bowing and apologizing.
Oh. No, I thought this was... I thought it was a... Yeah, Dutch company. The Dutch.
The Dutch, yeah.
Because don't you remember that... I was going to say a Joe Ledger book, but it's not a Joe Ledger book. It's a Daniel Suarez book. The final culmination of the book ends on the Ever Minsk, I think, or something.
I don't know.
You know, they're driving around the boat in a BMW.
This thing has satellite positions as well, Michael.
Yeah, of course. Well, how do you think they're getting any of this data?
No, it's showing satellites on the AIS.
Oh, I see. Over here, satellite AIS. Yeah. Huh, interesting. Okay. Huh, cool. Look at that. Another part of the internet we can get lost in.
Yeah, absolutely. This is cool. All right.
And the other thing I'll just mention, because I put in here this whole UK warship thing enters South China Sea. So I said like a Bond movie, because this reminds me of the movie with James Bond, with Pierce Brosnan and Michelle Yeoh, called Tomorrow Never Dies. And there's a British, I think it's a destroyer, that's in the South China Sea, and it gets sunk
or something, yeah.
by the bad guy's stealth boat, which actually kind of looks like this Zumwalt class.
Yeah, it does.
Except he's kind of a weirder design, but yeah. So it just kind of reminded me of that. I was like, "Heh, that's kind of cool."
All right, cool. All right, let's move on here. So nothing in Stranger Danger. Jump down to entertainment here. We got Dueling Banjos. What's this here?
So I saw this on Reddit. So do you guys know what Dueling Banjos is?
The two.
Yeah, it's from a movie called Deliverance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I put actually the second link there is actually that scene from the movie Deliverance on YouTube. So the kid who's sitting on the porch and playing his banjo. This link here, that's the guy. That's the guy who played him in the movie. He works at Walmart.
Of course.
In Georgia.
How the mighty have fallen.
His name is Billy Redden. I mean, everyone in the comments is like, "Oh, he's awesome, woo!" I'm like, man, this guy works at Walmart. How horrible is that? But I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, he never played the band. He doesn't play the banjo, right? It was just some stand-in or something, right? According to this Reddit, so. Right?
Yeah.
He was just a pretty face, as we can see.
Yeah. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I was like, oh, that's the guy from fucking Deliverance. Huh. Even though I don't think I've ever actually seen the movie, but I've just seen that scene. Isn't that the one where they're like, squeal like a pig?
Correct.
Yeah. They're like, we're going to fuck you, all you men, because out here in the woods we like to rape men. Like, what? It's fucking strange. Oh, do you have a link to it? Oh, yeah, you have a link to it. Okay, I was going to put a link to it, but you got it up there.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, nice. All right, excellent. All right, next we got another Reddit thing. What's this?
So, Evan, I've been waiting for you to make your triumphant return here to the show, because I wanted you included in this discussion here. So,
sure.
Saw this on the Star Trek subreddit. They have a detailed explanation of the way money works in the economy in the Star Trek universe.
Okay.
Some made-up shit, huh?
Kinda. It's
because it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work.
Well, it says
it can't work.
It's from a game called Star Trek Adventures, which is a tabletop RPG. Okay, and it's from
the keyword here is official, correct?
Oh, it is official, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually from this excerpt is actually from a supplement. It says the Beta Quadrant supplement, page 18. It says none of the shows goes into much detail on what life looks like for the average UFP citizen. Right? So here the quoted thing basically says the Federation economy is best described as a centralized, post-scarcity, resource-based economy based on mutual interlocking responsibilities. The Federation Charter specifies that member planets are to promote social progress and better standards of living, an aim that is undermined by economic systems that encourage income inequality. Okay.
That encourage income inequality?
It is undermined by economic systems that encourage income inequality. It's saying...
That's bad. That's correct. A bad thing.
It's saying you should not have that. Don't do that. Right?
No. Read that again.
An aim that is undermined by economic systems that encourage income inequality.
So an aim that is undermined by economic systems, so this to me says their goal is defeated by the pre-existing systems of income inequality that exist on these member planets. That's how this reads to me. Aim that is their goal, that is undermined, yes, that is defeated by economic systems that encourage income inequality.
Yes.
That's
so
how I'm
saying
reading
if
that.
there are systems in place that promote income inequality, then that undermines what we're trying to do, right?
The Federation Charter specifies that member planets are to promote social progress and better standards of living. In aim, no. This is saying, this is what their charter says, but this is what's really happening. That's what this says to me. Their charter says do these things, but the aim of their charter is undermined by economic systems that encourage income inequality.
Yes. It doesn't say if they exist or not. It just says they are undermined by that.
Evan, am I wrong? Am I making this up?
I think this is too complicated. I think that all member planets of the Federation have to embrace this post-scarcity way of economy, and non-members such as the Ferengi Alliance or whatever don't matter. That's why they're not members.
So,
okay.
It says here that because they have replicated...
You see what kind of trouble this debate causes, Mike? Summarize this, please.
I mean, this is poor wording, and Michael either doesn't understand or I don't understand.
I can't believe you wrote this Reddit post for us, and you're just...
Did you write this? Is this yours?
Yeah, that's clearly his account.
Yeah, use Spock's dogs. That's me.
Dude,
that probably is your fucking account, you damn nerd.
You named a cat after Leonard Nimoy, okay? This is your
wrong.
Fucking post,
You're
Mike.
not wrong. So I made this whole thing. What if someone just made this whole thing up? Could be.
Yes, they did.
I mean, someone did make it all up, but I mean, what if someone made up this post and it's not based on anything?
It isn't. You realize none of this is based on anything. Anytime you see,
well, of course.
anytime on any lore or lore-based media or some after-the-show type, we're going to fill in the details, shit is made up. Basically, a writer wrote some shit that looks cool on TV, where everyone has replicators and science, da-da-da-da. Do you really think fucking, when he made this show up, he thought, how does the economy work? Fuck no. He just said, it's the future. These motherfuckers have replicators. Shit just gets shit out of thin air. That's it. He didn't think about where it comes from. Matter just appears. They must have base materials somewhere. They never discussed that shit because it doesn't exist. People, why would anyone work? We've seen waiters. We've talked about this. Why would you ever be a waiter? I don't care how post-scarcity is. Nobody's like, my inner joy was to wait on people. Fuck out of here. None of this makes any sense.
There would not bullshit. Be waiters, obviously.
No, there would be
it would just
waiters.
be you go get your food from the slot, and then you return.
Yeah, there wouldn't be restaurants.
You return your plates to the slot or whatever, and that would be that. I mean, there would not.
Yeah, there wouldn't be restaurants, bro. Look at America right now.
There could be.
Everything is basically gray and the same. Okay? Do you really think in a world that spawned from some kind of post-America society, there would be restaurants still if everyone had replicators? Hell no. There'd be a big gray box that you walk up to that fucking has a slot in it, and you say, okay, I'd like filet mignon. And you would grab your filet mignon, and you'd go sit down in your jumpsuit because you work for a corporation, and that corporation, whatever. I'm taking this too far, but you know what I mean. You work for a megacorp in a Blade Runner-esque society. We're never gonna have this Star Trek world.
Star Citizen world, yes.
Yeah.
I believe there would still be waiters, and that your perspective on life is biased towards what you want, and other people who realize that the personal interaction between a restaurant attendee and a waiter is not merely transactional, but it maintains core humanity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that wouldn't exist, but it would exist on such a microcosm, such a tiny scale, and it would be for the ultra super rich. You know, because it doesn't matter if humans exist. There's going to be classes,
right?
Whether it's pronounced or not, there's going to be classes. So there's going to be ultra rich people who are going to want to have a human being go to the food replicator for them, or fucking fucking whoever, Chef Blah, make their food for them. There's always going to be someone creating. It's like art. Art exists. None of us own any.
Speak
barely.
For yourself.
Michael owns some art.
One art.
Yeah,
please.
you own some art because you fucking know an artist.
We all have a couple of art.
You own art.
Yeah, I know, but I own posters.
Evan has a dad named
Actually,
Art. I mean, you know, there's...
I have art. I have the frog and the elephant, but I bought those at fucking TJ Maxx, dude. That's barely art. Look,
TJ
the point
Maxx.
is...
I mean, they're not originals?
Yeah. The point is, yeah, most people don't have shit like that. So, it's just like, it's for the rich, man. It's for the ultra rich. Yeah, waiters will exist. People who wash cars will exist. You know, that stuff. It's just going to be for the ultra rich. Simple as that.
Do you remember... I was going to say Star Citizen. You got me saying Star Citizen. It's almost the same thing, though. Star Carrier. The Star Carrier books?
Yeah.
So, in one of those books, they go to a restaurant. You know? And it's the same thing. It's like, no one ever goes to a restaurant, usually. You know, it's like, it's only for, like, rich people and, or whatever, you know? So, they're like, there's like a waiter there. They're like, hey, you know? But it's like so out of the ordinary, you know? And they just go there.
Yeah, and that's not a post-scarcity society in that book. That's a fucking...
close, but I don't know if they have replicators, but...
No, they had slums and stuff. They had, like,
that's because
mega...
people are crazy, you know?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, Evan, in those books, there's, so the main character is a guy who, they kind of made him join the military. Because... So most people in society, after you're born and you know, pretty soon after, maybe you're a couple years old or something, they basically inject you with nanites or whatever, and you need that to like interact with like the computer systems and, you know, open doors and, you know, do everything, right? Like there's no other way. It's like saying
it's like your ID sort of, but
I mean it's everything. It's like saying, you know, survive without a cell phone today or something. You know, it's like you could do it, but it's hard. You know.
It's like your forearm tattoo in Idiocracy.
Kinda, yeah. But so the main character in this, he was a guy who lived, they call them on the periphery. And there's a few areas of the United States and other parts of the world where people live there and are just like off the grid. You know? And I mean, some of them are like born there, you know? So they don't even have anything implanted in them, nothing, you know? But he ends up having to get all that shit, and they make him join the military because his wife had some kind of medical problem, and he showed up at a hospital and was like with her and was like, fix her, you know? And they're like, all right, we'll do it, but you gotta join the military for 5 years or whatever, you know?
So you got to pay with your life.
Yeah.
Well, it was a crime to not have this thing or something. Like, you're not allowed to not have it, right, Michael?
I don't know if it's a crime, but it's definitely like frowned upon It's like
no religious exemptions.
No,
not in that world. That world has a very strict opinion of religion.
Oh
which I love.
That's a whole thing.
We talk about that on the show a bunch of times. The White Covenant.
Yeah.
Or the white, whatever it's called.
I think it's the White Covenant because apparently now in the lore of this book, it must be I don't know. I don't know anything about the author, but I was gonna say maybe the author doesn't like Muslims or something. But the book is set like 300 or 400 years in the future, from now, and he's saying in the book, he's saying that there were all these Islamic or Muslim wars in the 21st century. And they're like, after that, they're like, all right, done, like no more. And they instituted like worldwide these laws regarding religion that's basically say, okay, you can be whatever religion you want. It's fine. Believe whatever the hell you want. But you're not allowed to, proselytize.
Promote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if your religion requires that of it, then, sorry, bro. People, you can live not on earth then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like James said, they have a very weird thing going on about religion, and there's a character that everyone's like, oh, is he religious or something? Because he doesn't have like all the anti-aging stuff going on that everyone else does. So he actually like looks old, and people like, and so and you could ask someone about their religion, but it's like awkward, You're like, should I ask, and like. All this kind of thing. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Okay.
That's the matter of fact, Michael. You point out a really important thing about the difference between like Star Carrier and Star Trek, or like any real TV show that takes place in a fictional world, because of the nature of TV, and also because the people who write TV shows are just normally garbage human beings. Like Star Carrier, but Star Carrier is filled with lore about the world. Like that world is fully fleshed out and fully thought out. How the economy works, how this whole White Covenant works. It's mentioned several times, and it's not shoehorned in as a plot device, but it's just a thing that exists in a world that exists. And it's one of those little things that gives the world depth and realism. And luckily Star Trek is the kind of show where you go in, you're going to watch one episode, and then next week it's going to be on to a different thing. So if religion is ever mentioned in Star Trek, it's a plot device. It's because some alien race has a weird religion that does blah, or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like, Picard's religion. You never see Picard like going to mass or something. I mean, maybe it's happened a couple times in the show, but
no, it doesn't. It's
really
not happen. I'm like thinking about that now.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
No one ever mentions religion unless it's like some weird aliens, like so.
Yeah,
it's never like the only one I can even remotely think of is like Chakotay and his Native American traditions. We'll say.
Let me say something. In the 24/24s, there won't be Native Americans anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Native Americans. I respect you as I know that all you guys Native Americans are on the come up in 2021. You guys got the hey colonizer shit going on. It's very cool, but you're not gonna exist anymore. There's not gonna be some brown skin fucking no. Sorry. Whatever human beings look like in 2024, it's going to be some weird, blue-eyed, light-skinned amalgam with blonde hair. It's going to be something strange that none of us can fathom. There won't be anybody as pale as Evan, or anybody as red as Michael, and there won't be anybody as black as me. They just won't exist anymore in the 24s.
Everyone is going to just look Moroccan, basically.
Yeah, everyone's going to be a sexy-ass Moroccan.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in great shape because of the replicators.
It's true.
That's right. Everyone's going to have fucking abs. It's going to be great.
Yeah, everyone's going to be ripped. It's like a Moroccan Greek gods walking around everywhere.
I support that, by the way.
I do too. Moroccans are fucking attractive.
I also wanted to say that Klingons, someone asked Worf about, was like, what's your religion or where are your gods? He's like, they were weak. We killed them.
Oh yeah, I mean I guess they don't really have religion, but they do have like their traditions. You can almost call it the same thing.
Don't they have isn't there like the original Klingon or something?
Yeah.
The original
Kalis.
Yeah, there's Kalis.
Caliph. Yeah, Kalis. Yeah.
Kalis, and you go to, dude. I saw.
Isn't he a god?
Dude, I saw a
no?
great
No.
meme. I know
He killed gods.
I saw a great meme, or it was like a fake thing. It was like a fake tweet about like, oh, you don't believe in Kalis, so you don't think you're gonna go to Stovacor, blah blah blah, like all this stuff. Like, it's like you're gonna be wishing different, man, when you're on the barge of the dead, on your way to wherever. Like it's like what?
Yeah.
Like
That's great. That's
now
great.
now do we mention? I was gonna say Chipotle. Jesus Christ, Chicote, and well.
And his delicious barbacoa.
Well, see, here's the thing, okay? So I was reading this somewhere. I don't know where I saw this. Maybe on Reddit, maybe somewhere. Apparently, on Voyager, they had a person who was a Native American consultant, right? For the Chicote shit.
Yeah.
Dude, the guy they hired, it'd be like if they hired Evan, and Evan was like, yeah, I'm a Native American. I'm an expert. And Evan started calling himself... John Hightower, or something, or whatever. I don't know. John Moonblood.
Was he at least a little Native
No.
American?
Zero
So he
vetting.
just, are you serious? Or he was just like, an expert in studying it.
He's not expert in nothing.
Mike, you should have used yourself as an example.
Dude, I'm
was
more
like
Native
a
American than
1/16th.
this guy.
No, but okay, so he doesn't. Let's assume he doesn't actually have to be Native American. He just has to be super knowledgeable on it. Was that the case? Was he like a professor in Native American studies or something?
So I put a link in the show notes at the bottom. It says like Jamake or whatever. The guy's name is Jamake, or however you say it. I don't know. Highwater. Okay. There's like born as Jackie Marks, the American writer and journalist of Eastern European Jewish ancestry. From the late 1960s, he claimed to be of Native American ancestry, specifically Cherokee.
Dude, who? Rachel Dolezal? This is like...
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy started it.
Dude, one version of his shifting story was that he had been adopted as a child and taken from his Indian home in Montana to grow up in a Greek or Armenian family in Los Angeles, California. Yeah.
It's like, are you sure you're not talking about Dances with Wolves? Like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be like, it's like that guy who was like, remember we did a thing, he's like, I'm Filipino, and I drive this truck. Whatever it was, a tuk-tuk or whatever fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, look at him. He's just a white guy with a tan.
Oh, you found a picture of him? I didn't
Christ.
even look at that.
He wrote a book called Eyes of Darkness, a novel by Jamake Highwater. My
Dude.
God. He wrote another book called Anapo,
Dude,
an American Indian Odyssey. Holy shit.
yeah, and apparently, I mean, if you read the Wikipedia article, they're like, oh yeah, he was debunked in like the 80s. Like it's like everyone knew like, oh no, he's like full of shit. And Voyager was still like, yep, let's hire that guy.
He must have been someone's cousin.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably just knew somebody. Jesus Christ, look at this guy. Yeah, he's just a white guy with a tan.
Mm-hmm.
A tan and a leather vest on. He doesn't look Native American at all, man.
And here's an article from 2018, Fool's Gold, the story of Jamake Highwater, the fake Indian who won't die. Jesus. Yeah, so that's why...
Yeah, Jamake Highwater developed Chicote.
Yeah. So that's why Chicote is kind of like meh. Like everything Native American in that show is kind of like eh.
So he wrote 25 books of both fiction and nonfiction related to Native American myths and traditions. Jesus Christ.
So
They say he's a controversial choice. No, it was more than controversial.
this guy wrote so many books about something he was unqualified for. Is this like, who created Scientology? What's that guy's name?
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard. Is this the L. Ron Hubbard of Star Trek?
I mean, he just made it up, and he's like, yeah, I made it up. right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, L. Ron Hubbard. I don't know, man. L. Ron Hubbard making a religion and this kind of shit is this dupery is like, I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but this is, it's funny, right? This guy, what he did was he made a prophecy up and he fulfilled it himself. Like he wrote these books, right? He wrote these fucking books. And those, I guarantee you, one of these writers read one of his books, and he's wrote 25 books, dude. So can you imagine how much things we know about Native Americans either have come from something he wrote, or something someone read, or a quote he put in one of his books that people now say, even now. Like, can you imagine, dude? It's like shrimp on the Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
You know that term that Australians say all the time? No, they don't say that shit. It was made up term. It was made up. It was made up. For a commercial. It's not even Australian. Australians have never said that shit.
We've been duped.
Yeah, precisely.
But it's like, I guarantee you there's shit that this fucking guy has said. He's dead now. There's shit he said. Those books exist in the world. In fucking 2121, someone's going to grab one of those books with no context, read it, and say, this is about Native Americans. This is how Native Americans lived. It's so crazy, dude. It's like a Facebook page about garbage that nobody can administer. They need to find all those books and burn them.
Well, now we're back to burning books, James, huh?
Yeah, that's how. Hey, it's a circle.
Yep. Well, now we're learning, like, you can't just do whatever, Like, it's not cool,
So Chakotay, you know what's funny about Chakotay, right? There's not a lot of, besides being called, I remember watching the show, and despite being called Chakotay, I was like, what kind of Indian is he?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know they discussed it sometimes, like, is he from a planet where Indians said we're going to be Indians again? I mean, and I was trying to think, I was like, and I don't know, 2300s, 2400s, whatever. But that far in the future, I was like, do people still look like Indians? And then I was like, are people still doing facial like shit?
Right.
In like, are human beings still doing this kind of facial tribal shit? Like, that's not a thing that people do. I was like, didn't have Native Americans ever done anything like that? That's so weird. Like, he'd have been better off wearing a fucking thing around his head with one feather sticking out.
Well, he's supposed to be from South America somewhere, right? It's that kind of Indian,
So why bring out this fucking guy who's a fake Native American?
South America is still America, baby. No.
Michael, dude, I hate Hollywood so much. I hate Hollywood so much. That's like they have a movie about Marines and they're like, well, we got a Navy guy, that's good enough. Like, no.
Where's the actor who played him from?
Robert Beltran.
Yeah, Robert
from
Beltran.
California or something.
He's got to be Spanish of Latin.
I doubt it.
So I always looked at him. I was like, that's just a white dude, right? But
no, he's from somewhere. Beltran's a fucking name from somewhere.
So apparently his parents are immigrants from Mexico. So there you go.
Okay.
Told you.
So there you go.
Beltran is a
just remember that.
That's pretty Indian, actually, Mike.
But just remember this.
It's more Indian than fucking Jamake high water.
Just remember this though. Where does the Spanish language come from?
Spain,
which is where white people are from, among other places, right?
Right.
Europe. So you see like a person from Mexico or something, and you're like, oh, they look like white. Yeah. That's how they got Spanish over there. I mean, like we forget that sometimes. We're like, oh, they don't look whatever, like kind of tannish, kind of dark hair, whatever, It's like,
I mean, there's a fair amount of those too, and that's breeding with the natives.
If you go to Spain, though, you're not going to see some fucking. If you see a tan person in Spain,
you went to Spain. What do they look
tan,
like over there?
I mean, they look like fucking white people.
So blonde hair, blue eyes.
I mean, they look like Spaniards.
Yeah, they have a black hair. They look like a Mediterranean almost, but maybe a little more European, a little more white guy mixed in because they're so close to like all those. They're more more Europe than Middle Eastern, but they share some of those traits. And when they get dark, they get dark like fucking people from fucking Latin America. They brown. sort of. Sometimes it depends. Otherwise, they redden like you do. You know, it just depends. But yeah. Plus, you can always tell like a fucking someone from Central America versus somebody from, here comes some racism, versus somebody from like Spain or something, because Central Americans are fucking short as shit. So if you see a Central American woman, man, they're tiny. It's like a 4 foot tall, like, you know, tiny ass dude, you know? It's fucking weird. Like, we know several Central Americans, me and Michael, and Evan, I guess you do too, by way of
proxy?
us. And they're all tiny. Yeah. You've met Claudia's uncle Julio.
Me or him?
Have you met him?
I have.
No, not you. Michael.
I don't recall, to be honest. But
I'm pretty sure I took you to the house and he was present. He's a tiny man. He's a small man.
Well,
and I just learned from Claudia that his sons are very small. You know? And I'm like, in 2021, he has small sons still, which is, in America, that's unusual, right? In 2021, Americans are coming out like, oh, he's 7 foot tall. Because all the hormones and shit.
Well,
you know what I mean?
they were pumping us full of milk since the 80s, at least, or something.
Well,
I don't know.
Hopefully not milk. They may be pumping you full of milk.
Huh?
Milk. Huh?
Vitamin R, baby? No.
Bag of milk? Bag of milk? I'm from Canada. I'll have a bag of milk, please. All right. Milk. M-E-L-K.
No, it's like, do you guys sell bags of milk? Like, why would you put milk in a bag? It's like a bag of water. It's like, you guys have bags of water? It's like, keeps going.
Canadians
don't have that.
Man. Yes, they do.
What,
bags of milk is a thing.
I've never seen that.
Yes.
Bagged milk, 100%.
I've never seen that.
Bag of milk is a thing.
I know it's a thing. I don't think it's a thing in Canada. I think it's a
yes,
thing
it is.
in
100%.
Germany or something.
No.
Dude, Canada.
I don't know about Germany.
For
I know
sure.
Canada is 100% a thing. I was
Way
talking
more
to a guy I
common
used to
than
play
cartons.
airsoft with, and he's like, yeah, we get a bag of milk. That's totally
I've never seen
normal.
that in my life.
Well, you know, I don't think you know a lot about Canada.
Apparently
Not as much as me and Evan
Apparently,
do.
I haven't been there
don't.
30 or 50 times.
Well, you know, then you're slipping. I don't know.
How many times have
Evan,
you
you
been
go to
there?
the American
How
part.
many times have you guys been there?
We're quite knowledgeable. I flew over it once.
I've seen it on a
I
map.
flew over Nova Scotia. Yeah, I've seen it on the map. Yeah.
Well, Mike, bags of milk are very common, and in any good Canadian household, you will find what looks to be an empty pitcher, but actually you put the bag of milk in the pitcher and pour from that. You don't pour the milk into the pitcher, you just place the bag in the pitcher as a holding device and pour both of them together into the glass.
All right, I'll have to do some research on this.
Yep.
I don't like it.
I love
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I love, you know what, this, you know, so we're looking at fake Native Americans, and that brought me to, of course, that shows Iron Eyes Cody, right? This is the Native American who cried in the 70s ad, which I saw as a kid. I saw this ad was shown as a kid to me, and it's the Native American standing on the roadside as cars fly by, and he's got the full headdress and shit on, and he turns and looks at the camera, and there's a single tear. And it says, get involved, pollution hurts all of us. And it shows a Native American. And it's so funny, this fucking ad was made by, like, Big Plastics of America. It's like someone like that, like, you know? And it's like the ad council. But it was made by a polluter.
An American actor of Italian descent.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, right, I saw a whole thing about this particular ad, and it's off break, but that's why you're here at this show, because you want to hear us go off tangent, and you want to hear me rant, especially, because I'm a very important member of this show. So let me just say this. This fucking guy, okay, yeah, Italian-American, like Michael said, this ad, though, was designed to push the responsibility for recycling off of polluters and companies who have the most power onto the American people. Hence these recycling programs and all this shit. Recycling, it starts with you. It's you. It starts with you. This is something Americans need to get their fucking through their head. Companies always push responsibility for anything that involves social responsibility onto us. It's never the government. It's never the companies. It's never the people who create the problems. It's always us. Oh, Cindy needs fucking medical aid? Oh, go to GoFundMe. It's our responsibility to take care of this. fucking the kids need to pay for college. It's our responsibility. And look, you should put your kids through college if you can, but still, maybe you can't afford it. You know? Fucking pollution, that's our responsibility. Even though we don't reap any benefits from polluting, and we don't the little bit of recycling that I can do in my lifetime will never add up to even a drop of 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 a bucket in what the pollution problem is. All right, I'm done.
Dude, apparently this. I'll just say this: Iron Eyes Cody, famously as Chief Iron Eyes in Bob Hope's The Paleface, 1948. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I always wondered why my mom called me Paleface. I guess that's why. She must have seen this movie.
I mean, your mom calls you Paleface?
Sometimes, yeah.
That's a common old term from like the 50s and 60s about what you called white people.
My mom also, as you may or may not know, my mom also calls me Cracker, but it has nothing to do with being a white person. She didn't know that means white people until I told her relatively recently, and she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's like."
Why does she call you Cracker? Because you enjoy Ritz crackers?
No, it's like calling someone to her. It's like calling someone sweetie or something. You know, it's just a.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah, okay.
It's just whatever. You know.
Huh?
Like, oh, you're my little potato chip, or something like that. Like a little term of endearment. Yeah.
So.
I'm not mad at that. That's fine. She's your mom. She's loud.
So I told her that. She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I love your mom's innocence.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Dude, this guy's been in movies since 1927 to 1987. He played Old Chief St. Cloud. He's an Italian guy. Jesus Christ, dude. America, man. I tell you.
Well, it's like, what's his name? What's the guy in Breakfast at Tiffany's? Is it Mickey Rourke or not Mickey Rourke? Mickey Rooney?
Yeah, he played the Chinese guy.
Yeah.
They gave him buck teeth and fucking squinty eyes. Jesus Christ. The Japanese guy. That was fucking horrible. What was his name? His name was something stupid, like Come Some Young Guy or some shit like that. It wasn't like that, but it was something really like ultra racist.
Like,
oh, Mr. Rice Patty,
some shit like that, or not even that. It was something even worse.
Yeah.
It
wasn't like
I don't know.
Mr. Nakamoto. You know, it was like something racist as fuck.
I've never actually seen that movie.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie if you can appreciate old movies. I was forced to watch it several times with an ex-girlfriend. It's a good movie if you like old movies. By comparison to like Gone with the Wind or something, which is a trash movie. So yeah.
Isn't that the one
early days of American
Mammy
cinema
or whatever?
Yeah.
I.Y.Unioshi.
There you go.
So, a romantic comedy film, Breakfast at Tiffany's, based on Truman Capote's novella of the same title. Really? Huh. This is by Truman Capote? God. He's known for writing other things, not a lighthearted romantic comedy. So that's
Capote, Michael. Capote.
So that's surprising.
All right, we're so off track. We went from somehow we were at Star Trek and we ended up at Breakfast at Tiffany's. All right, let's jump to the next thing. So I'm just gonna quickly go over this. I saw this last night. I'm 43 years old. I grew up with He-Man as a cartoon when it came out. I watched this as a kid. Absolutely loved it. You know, of course it fell out of fashion because it's really just about bulky ass fucking almost Scandinavian dudes running around with no shirt on, fucking beating people's ass but never killing anybody with ugly swords on a desolate landscape over a filthy old castle. But I loved this as a kid. Like, this was like, if you were a kid outside pretending, you're like, I'm He-Man, you're Skeletor, you know, like that was like what we did. Mm-hmm. And we'd run around with sticks hitting each other. Like, this was like super nostalgic for me. And I saw the trailer, I was super excited to watch it. Super excited. Oh, there's a reminder for James. Thank you. I still haven't found how to delete that reminder. All right. Anyway, so this was super nostalgic for me, though. I was really excited about this, and I watched it last night. And there's a guy who I check out. I watch his YouTube channel, and have you ever heard of the quartering?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. You're not missing anything. But there's several YouTubers, and I'm sure you're familiar with people. You're familiar with any of the outrage YouTubers. Anytime someone does something that empowers women or black people or takes a old franchise and warps it or twists it in some kind of way and redoes it, there's this outrage mob, you know? Normally when things are warped or twisted, they've added a black person or added a woman or elevated a woman to a position of importance, you know? Like Rey in Star Wars. Rey became the Skywalker, the new Skywalker type character, and people are very upset about that because people hate women. Now look, I'm not saying that was a good movie. It was not a good movie. And Rey was a Mary Sue, but not because she was a woman, because she was badly deployed and given poor lines because no one cared because they wanted to ride off the skirt tails of a Star Wars movie. This particular series on Netflix is a 5-episode series, which pissed me off. Part 1 is 5 episodes. And the trailer heavily shows He-Man just fucking people up. It's a great trailer. Okay? I watched it. I fucking felt giddy in my heart. And then I watched the first episode. And dude, the first time Adam becomes He-Man, I fucking cried. I'm not even joking. I cried. I cried in my fucking soul. Like, it was so fucking nostalgic for me. It was a huge moment, you know? And there's something else that I've watched recently that made me feel that way, and I can't remember what it was. This might be the fat boy estrogen going on, or it might just be nostalgia, I don't know. But it was a nostalgic cry, I feel. So I watched it, and I was really happy, and I was ready for it, you know? It was still campy. It was still, you know, what you'd expect from He-Man as a grown-ass man watching He-Man. But the animation was good. It was a cell animation style, a throwback to the classics, you know, but really clean, really good looking. Like I really enjoyed it. The first episode, they kill He-Man. Okay, and I don't want to spoil because it's still good enough for you to watch. But they kill He-Man in the first episode. They kill He-Man and something happens to Skeletor. They kill He-Man and Skeletor, I'm going to say. Okay? And then an undetermined amount of time happens, or they go back to the castle and tell He-Man's parents, and they say, look, your son died. They're like, but he was here. If you don't understand what He-Man is a secret identity of Adam of Eternia, or whatever. It's his secret identity. Only 3 people know about his identity. You know, none of his best friend, only like his guardian, the man-at-arms or whatever, and then like some wizard, the house, the castle wizard know. That's it. No one else knows. So when he dies, of course they have to tell his parents, yeah, your son died. He was He-Man. The father's pissed. He sends the man-at-arms off, and the only person left is the man-at-arms' daughter, who was going to be made the new man-at-arms, and she quits. And she quits because she's like, I didn't know I was being lied to all this time. You guys are all horrible. You lied to me. And she storms out, okay? This is a common Hollywood thing where they take something that should be an impactful, powerful moment, and they use it as a plot device to elevate and move another character off to the next scene. The problem is, though, if your friend just died and his parents just found out their son died, you're not going to be like, I was lied to. You know? So people who are outraged about this show are right to be angry about that moment. And the show's filled with moments like that are like sadly, a female character acting petulant and whatever. Okay? But other than those moments, the show is really good. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. And this was produced by Kevin Smith, who apparently a lot of people dislike. I don't dislike him. I don't necessarily like what he makes, but I don't dislike him. And I know he's old enough to really care about this, you know? So, yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to wait to see. I'm going to withhold judgment and wait and see what the next part is about and how it comes out. They bring, just to spoil some more, they bring in the last episode of Part 5, they go back to, like, the Hall of Heroes, where all the dead heroes are, to get the sword of power back, and Adam is there, and he chooses to go back So come from Valhalla, go back, sacrifice his time in Valhalla, and that means he can never go back, even if he dies again, to go back to help them. So he goes back to help them, even though he doesn't really need to, to take the Sword of Power back. So he goes back, and then as soon as he gets back, Skeletor pops out. Once magic is back in the world, Skeletor pops out and fucking kills him. And I'm just like, so there's no He-Man in 4 episodes. They show snippets of him in each episode, like a flashback, but there's no like He-Man actively trying to solve any problems or do anything. If you know anything about He-Man, He-Man's a blunt instrument. He's not a problem solver. He's a fucking hammer. That's what he is. But he's a hell of a hammer. Anyway, so I don't know, man.
Do you have to wait a year for series 2?
I mean, this is Netflix. I'm sure it is. I'm sure we'll have to wait a year. They're getting less and less episodes every time, man. So I don't know. But I'll say one last thing about it is they add a black character, right? So
of course,
Teela, who is Man-at-Arm's daughter in the series. She's the one who gets angry and leaves, and in episode 2, in an undetermined amount of time in the future, she's off working with this other woman as a mercenary. There are hints and sort of like subtle put-ins that they may be a couple, which of course people find instantly problematic because lesbians don't exist in the real world, and we hate to see them in movies and literature. So that's a problem for a lot of people. And the other problem for a lot of people is the other woman's black. So this is the guy who I watched his review after I watched the show myself. His name's The Critical Drinker, and he's this British guy. And honestly, I like his reviews. But they are on the edge of like, oh, they added another black person. Like, they're like that, you know what I mean? But in many cases, he's right about a lot of stuff. And look, I like diversity. I like black people being in things. I hate living in a world where black people are seldom included, or we are represented in TV shows and movies at the same rate we exist in population. I know that sounds fucking crazy to say it like that, but it sucks that you'll watch a movie and it's like 99% white people and one black guy, and that black guy is an outlandish gay guy or an over-the-top criminal or whatever the case may be, or he's like, he's a scary guy who's the comedy foil for the pussified cuck white guy or something like that. Like, I don't like that, So, or they do a bait and switch with him and he's a nerd. He's like a fat nerd, It's like black guys can only be like so many characters. So, I mean, I was kind of pleased to see there was a black person in it, even though it was just this black girl played by a white girl. But I was like, okay,
a black
whatever.
Girl played by a white girl?
Yeah, the voice actor's white.
Oh, right, it's animated. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So, but mind you, look, this is Eternia. Their theory of what blackness is not related to American theories of what blackness is, so it could be anything. There's dog people walking around in Eternia. So none of that means anything, right? I don't really care if he's white. So, but this guy's like, he's like, oh, there's more diversity. I was like, so I posted a comment on his thing. I was like, I normally like your reviews, man, but black people exist in the world. I think it's fair for, out of a show that's always had 100% white people, that one black person is on the show. They don't, and the thing is, unlike most shows that beat you over the head with wokeness, like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which I fucking hated, they just fucking take a shovel and hit you in the head with like woke bullshit. Like, dude, I watch TV to get away from that stuff, not to hear more about it. I don't want the real world in my media, And the thing is, you're not teaching me a fucking lesson. You're just helping me find new ways to hate. So
it's having the opposite
all they do
effect.
is, yeah, it does have the opposite effect. And I'm black, but I detest it because I'm not stupid. I can see the message. You're not teaching me a lesson. Star Trek does teaching lessons right. They know how to teach a lesson. So anyway, yeah. Point is, I thought it was fine. I left a nasty comment about it, pissed me off, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a bunch of fucking more hate mail about it from people on YouTube. I can only imagine what I'm gonna get messages about it, because those things are they're like hate mobs of just like, and they're review bombing the shit out of it. It has 29% from the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which is horrible.
But James, what about upholding canon?
I mean, if you uphold canon, then where's She-Ra?
That's a good question. Where is she?
Well, She-Ra, as far as I can remember, She-Ra is Teela.
Okay.
But they've decided that this is not part of this, so they're changing. They're changing the canon already. You know. I'm surprised Hasbro. Oh, they killed Orko too. They killed Orko. They killed Roboto. Robato's not really a character I remember, but Orko is like the wizard. He's like one of the mainstay characters. They kill him. You know. So I was trying to figure out. I was like, okay, number one, who's this show for? No kid born today knows what the fuck He-Man is. So it's not for them. It's not for Gen X. I mean, it's not for millennials. It's not for fucking Gen Z. And it ain't for boomers. It's for Gen X. So if you're making a show for Gen X, why would you kill off all the characters that Gen X recognizes? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. I've talked too much about this. I have another one too.
Okay.
Next up is Snake Eyes. So
I didn't even know this was coming out.
Yeah, this snuck on the radar. But this is another show like He-Man I was giddy about. A movie. I was giddy about this. Snake Eyes is my favorite character. Absolutely favorite G.I. Joe. And he's many people's favorite G.I. Joe. Yeah.
And?
I regret to inform you.
Awful.
This film is awful.
Really?
It is a total debacle.
That sucks.
Sadly, I'm sure it's going to do fine in the box offices. I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, this is good. Now, what I was hoping for was Hasbro and whoever else was working on this trying to do a Marvel-esque introduction into a G.I. Joe universe. So, to me, what they should have done was just had a show about Snake Eyes. That's it. And a little allusion to the G.I. Joes at the very end, maybe in a post-credit scene. Same way they do with Iron Man, and then they have the fucking guy from S.H.I.E.L.D. to come in at the end to say, hey, do you want to work for us? I'm S.H.I.E.L.D. You know? And that's it. A little allusion, people say, oh, and then we'll talk about it again in 2 more years, you know? But instead, what they do is... Man. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk a long time again. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, Hollywood has this thing they like to do. They have the 3-part story arc, and we've talked about this many times. You have a hero that's nothing, right? You have a main character, not a hero. He's nothing. Then he or she is nothing. Then they have a good period, and they start working their way up, and they conquer, and they're on top. Then they have a big downward slope, and they're down here at the bottom, and then the end of the movie is about them rising to the occasion and being back where they're supposed to be, in the middle. Getting back to some middle point, you know? So basically just bring them back here, and what you have in the middle is a high and a low. Powerful, lose everything, and then fight back to the top. That's it. Right? That's how movies work. So that already whole shit is very boring. Okay? But we're all used to it. And Hollywood believes this is the only way to make shows and movies. So what they do is you have a character who in the original, and I'm guesstimating this because I haven't done the research. I only remember vaguely what it's about in G.I. Joe. But in G.I. Joe, basically, Storm Shadow, who's the Cobra's ninja, and Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is adopted by this ninja clan because of whatever happened, we don't know, as a kid. And he and Storm Shadow grow up together, and they always have a rivalry. Storm Shadow does something wrong or illegal by the standards of the clan. He's banished by the clan, and then they become enemies for life. Simple as that. But overall, Snake Eyes is a good guy. He's not a bad guy. Well, what Hollywood does in this was... And now, mind you, that story arc is trite. Everybody's done it a million times. That's just how you take two people who are close and make them butt heads throughout the next several movies. This is common, right? And it's very overdone, but it works, right? That's why people keep doing it. Here they said, no, Snake Eyes' father was in a safe house with him. He's killed by a guy who rolls dice and says, you roll the dice, and if it comes up Snake Eyes, you're dead. He rolls the dice, it comes up Snake Eyes, they kill the father. They burn the house down. Okay? Now, Snake Eyes, as a character, doesn't know his father is in a safe house. They allude to it briefly, but when the movie starts, Dad, why'd you say you're on the phone, we're in a safe house? And he's like, oh, because we have a safe in the house. Whatever. They allude to it for a second, that's it. Then this whole shit happens with the guy coming to kill his dad. We never learn why. We never learn anything about it. But all we know is this guy is going by the name in real life, Snake Eyes. That's the name.
He could not.
Now, mind you, that he had to have had a name. His dad had to call him something. This is America. People have names. Okay? But instead of going by that name, he chooses to go by Snake Eyes to symbolize whatever about his father. Okay, fine. Whatever. That's like weird, but whatever, I get it. I mean, I don't know what kind of challenge I'd have if I decided, if people asked me my name and I said, call me Snake Eyes. That'd be really weird.
Like,
but that,
no,
okay, fine.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not calling you Snake Eyes. I'm gonna just call you fucking dickhead. How about that? That's as cool as Snake Eyes, right? Dickhead. So he doesn't have a real job. He's a drifter. Michael's favorite pastime. He's a drifter, and he's working. He goes around fighting in street brawls, beating people's asses after a while, and then when no one bets at him anymore, he leaves. But he's just a street brawler. He's untrained, unschooled. He's a street brawler. He gets hired by some guy who runs the Yakuza in L.A. They hire him, and in the process of this whole Yakuza thing, he meets another guy who, it turns out, the Yakuza boss catches this other guy. We'll call him Ito. He catches Ito, and he says, Ito is actually a spy for an ancient ninja clan that I used to be a part of and that I got kicked out of. And I want you to kill him. He picks this guy at random, out of the crowd, and he comes over there. He says, here, take the gun. He's like, okay. So then he doesn't kill him, of course. They fight their way out of there. And then he gets stabbed, and the guy Ito says, look, we're going back to Japan. So he flies him in a luxury jet. They go back to Japan. He says, I'm going to make you part of my family, of this ninja clan, yada, 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 so on and so forth. So the important part that I need to reiterate, now that I got that little bit of backstory out, this guy Ito is the nicest guy you ever met in your entire life. He's nice, he's honorable, he feeds him, he clothes him, he gives him medical aid, he brings him into his family. He says, I'm going to give you something you never had, family. He says, I want you to be with me forever. He said, I will not be comfortable in life unless I have someone as loyal and trustworthy as you at my back. Because I see honor in your eyes, And, dude, this guy gives him everything. He gives him this ancient sword of his family, and he says, here, take a motorcycle, do whatever you want, it's cool. This guy went from basically being homeless to, living well. So what does he do? What do we find out halfway through the movie? That he's still working for the Yakuza guy. The Yakuza guy staged all this to get him into the household because he needs him to steal something. Okay? Throughout the movie, there are times when the character has an opportunity when you think, oh, Snake Eyes will now redeem himself. Because it's obvious this guy, the Yakuza guy, is a piece of shit. Okay? But he's working for the Yakuza guy because the Yakuza guy has promised, I'm going to find the killer of your family, of your dad. And that's just all this guy cares about. So the whole movie, even though he's betraying these people, and this girl likes him, and he betrays her, and he's just like, biggest piece of shit. And so basically, long story short, Snake Eyes is the most unredeemable piece of fucking shit I've ever seen in a movie. This character is so poorly done, so poorly acted. He's a fucking Mary Sue. He comes in there, all of a sudden he's a fucking ninja. He's been there for 3 days. He knows how to use a fucking sword. He's a ninja. He can fight fucking with people who train their whole lives with swords and shit. and he's a fucking street brawler. That's it. I was like, what is this? Why? There's so many ways they could have just not done this. You know? Jump ahead 3 years. He's been training for 3 years. Simple. You know? So it turns out the guy who... They give him the guy after he steals this jewel. He betrays the guy. He must have betrayed this guy's trust like 15 or 20 times. And the guy still accepts him. Well, guess who that guy Ito is? This guy who's nice and trustworthy and honorable and a good guy.
Is it Storm Shadow?
He's Storm Shadow. Yeah. So at the end of the movie, they make Storm Shadow all of a sudden become this big piece of shit. And he's like, I'm out of here. You know, and he storms off. But Storm Shadow is rightfully angry once he realizes he's been betrayed. The entire end of the movie shows him rightfully angry. Dude, honestly, they also introduce Scarlet, and they say, oh, we're gonna make you a Joe. And dude, let me tell you something. I cannot take anything seriously. I've never been able to watch one of these G.I. Joe movies and hear them say we're part of the Joes and not fucking cringe. Okay? As a cartoon for kids, G.I. Joe's is cool. It's fine. But as an adult, and this is another question, right? Who is this G.I. Joe's movie for? Because look who the people who grew up with it at. Kids these days aren't reading G.I. Joe comic books and watching G.I. Joe movies. These are people who are nostalgic for the period. We're all old enough to know what Navy SEALs and shit are. So if you're going to call something Joe's, give it a cool fucking name. Make Joe's a fucking acronym. Do something else with it. Stop fucking calling it Joe's. It sounds stupid. It's cringy as fuck. You know? Just call it anything. We're a special elite task force. You know? And then just say coding Joe's. That's fine. Whatever.
Isn't it like Joint Operation Elite Specialists? You could call it that.
Perfect. Yes. Look at it. Acronym maker's back in business. He's back doing what he does. He didn't even know what it's called. He just said they made that shit up. Look at him. He's amazing. But look, they could do that. That'd be fine. But instead they said to ride this Joe shit out, and I'm like, it sounds so dumb. So, yeah, dude, the whole thing. And then they have the Baroness there, and you guys know, like, I'm a huge Baroness fan. Oh, you can't see it, but I'm a huge Baroness fan. I love the Baroness. She's my favorite, like, of all the villains of G.I. Joe. I mean, she's fueled many childhood fantasies. Not of, like, anything gross, but just, like, as an attractive woman. You know? And she, but they have some weird, like, I don't know, man, just some gross Czechoslovakian woman. Like, nothing special about her. She's not fucking scary at all. She's just like, oh, she's like a vampire waif. It's just like nothing. There's nothing cool about her. And she's the one bad guy here. And then she recruits Storm Shadow at the end. It was, I don't know, man. It was a big letdown. I mean, I was upset when I left. Now look, I'm gonna probably if they make enough money to warrant making another one and continue this up, I'll go watch it because I want to see G.I. Joe shit be good. But if it's anything like this, it's not gonna be good. This is really bad. Like G.I. Joe, what they should have done is gone full rated R, full grit with it. Okay, gone full fucking what's the name of the guy? Deadpool, full Deadpool with it, and that's what I expected, and that would have been really good. You know. But instead, it's like they're still trying to sell toys or something. You know, he puts on this mask, he's driving around a motorcycle with a sword. Like, dude, that's not legal anywhere. What are you doing, bro? This isn't... Come on, man. He's like, I'm going to go find him before I go anywhere. He puts on this fucking mask. I know he can't see shit. You know? It looks cool. But that's, you know... And the thing is, Snake Eyes never talk. This motherfucker's... Talking, making jokes. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You know? That's the only reason Snake Eyes was cool, because he didn't say any goddamn thing.
So he doesn't talk. Why not? He doesn't say. Okay.
No, he doesn't. Exactly. Exactly. It's like the Native American guy, the Native American Joe. I can't think of his name now. I'm sure Michael knows his name.
No, I don't even remember that guy.
That guy was cool. He had a fucking eagle. He never said shit. He was cool as shit. He just looked like a regular dude. He didn't have nothing crazy except the eagle. I mean, you know, it's kind of weird having an eagle as a pet, but it's probably illegal too. But he just wore a blue shirt, a bandana, and had a little band around his head, and jeans. He was a bad motherfucker, yo, and he was a man of few words. Snake Eyes never spoke, but this Indian guy. But those characters were cool, man, because they just did work. You know, they weren't like because every time a G.I. Joe opens their mouth, some cheese comes out. It's like He-Man, some bullshit that comes out. Oh, the space interfluxer! Like, shut up, bro! Stop! You know, it's 2021. You can't do that shit anymore, man. People aren't stupid like they used to be. They got the internet and shit. Anyway,
sorry, it was so disappointing.
Yeah, it saddened my heart, man. Saddened my fucking heart. Anyway, yeah, I'll watch the next one that comes out. If it comes out, if there's another one. I'll keep watching.
God, you're dumb.
Dude, it's nostalgia, man.
He's like, this movie's awful. I hated it. I can't wait till they release the next one.
I mean, it's probably one of the worst movies I've seen in 2 or 3 years. Only because it's so poorly done.
I saw someone on Facebook. They're like, oh, I liked it.
Yeah, because idiots are going to like it.
Yeah.
And let me be honest, let me be straight with you. The bar now, and I think if you don't know anything about G.I. Joe, if you don't know anything about, like, whatever, if you just took this as an action movie and had zero investment in the characters and who they were and what they stood for and didn't know what kind of person Storm Shadow's supposed to be, you'd be like, oh, this is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, but you would definitely, if you're not, unless you're an idiot, you would not see the character they created as Storm Shadow as a heroic character. You'd see him as somebody who stabs people in the back, who's treacherous, who can't be trusted, who's unreliable. Like, there's nothing good about him. He has no redeeming character traits. He's not even highly skilled. You know, they don't even bother to give us a training montage. The Ashkagi tribe, the clan he stays with, they have trainers and shit like that. Tony Jaa's there kicking people's ass and shit like that. They never show any training moments. They don't even bother. Like you're trying to convince me that a guy who fights on the street is as good as a samurai or a ninja who's been training all their life with swords and with ninja tools? That's crazy. You know? Like, it's just laziness. I don't understand how they could be so lazy with it. That is the most disappointing part. If they had just had some training scenes, pushed us 3 years out so we could say, oh, this guy's skilled, you know, and then had, like, I don't know, not had him halfway through say, you know what I'm doing is wrong. I'm going to go to Ito and tell him. So he goes to Ito, tells him, and Ito says, oh, let's set him up. Then you could be like, you could believe in this character and say he is righteous. But no, like the stalking the person, finding the person who killed your father is not enough motivation to betray people who are alive, who've given you everything you had when you had nothing. You know? Like, that I don't understand. At some point, you're going to be like, look, I've reached the length of the amount that's like, this isn't worth it anymore. You know? Like, the Yakuza guy is smuggling guns into the country. He finds out that the Yakuza guy works for Cobra and that Cobra's a terrorist organization. And in this world, Cobra's killing motherfuckers. Like, they're not just like, we try to blow up the world economy. No. They're killing people, blowing up trains, assassinating people. They're bad guys. There's no doubt Cobra is bad. There's no confusion about what Cobra is. So, yeah.
James, I found the Native American guy. Spirit. It's sometimes called Spirit Iron Knife.
Spirit Iron Knife.
Yeah.
That's better, I guess.
His name's actually Charlie Iron Knife.
Charlie Iron Knife.
But
okay.
yeah, it's called Spirit. They have a picture of him
Charlie
here
Iron
with
Knife.
his pet bald eagle.
It's highly illegal, Charles.
and the
Michael,
bald eagle is called Freedom.
Yeah, Freedom. Dude, tell me that ain't lazy as fuck. Freedom and Spirit.
Yep.
Michael, we need to get you a Native American name. When are we going to make that happen?
I don't know, man. That's
He can probably visit a reservation and, like, go through a ceremony and be given one.
I mean...
That's your next vacation, Mike.
He has to become a brave, and then from a brave, whatever, be accepted into the tribe, I guess.
You have to go on a vision quest or something.
I have
Do some peyote.
Yeah, some ayahuasca or ayahuasca, whatever the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
Call him
Maybe
Joe
they'll
Rogan.
call him Puffy man sleeps with cactus. Because Michael will be passed out in the desert somewhere.
I don't think there are very many deserts where I'm going to be going, but
Michael, you're gonna go. We're gonna make this happen. You need to go. You need to get in touch with your people.
I do. You're right.
Even if it's just to connect.
I want to. Absolutely.
And meet yourself a handsome Native American woman who's only a little Native American like you.
Yeah, I need to go back up to Canada, reconnect with my people in all senses of the
First
word.
Nation.
In all senses of the word. They are called Mohawk.
Mohawk. Were they affected by that whole thing of all the bodies found? Were they part of that?
No.
Okay. That was horrible, by the way. If no one heard about that, they found all those dead bodies. Did we talk about that on the show, Michael?
So.
Yeah, they found all those dead bodies in Canada where the Canadian government had, I don't know, or school, I guess, had killed
I was
all
asking
these
my
kids
mom
or
about that,
something,
and she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "No one in our family ever went to any of those schools." I was like, "Thank God." Somehow
That's
we
crazy,
escaped.
though.
They escaped all that. You know, I was like, they escaped all that. I wasn't there.
the culling. Jesus
Apparently,
Christ.
they stood up all these
Dude,
schools
these
where they're
countries-
like, "All right, we're gonna erase your identity, and we're gonna make you part." I mean, I get it in a way. I get it. You know, like they're like, "Yeah, we want to make everyone, part of society," and blah blah blah. And
That's the your dad in you. That's the
Yeah, I
Ohioan
know,
in
I know.
you trying to erase people's identity.
I know.
Colonizer.
Yeah, like, come on, we're all one big happy family. Come on, But yeah, no, it's just not cool. And of course, obviously, they were like doing wild shit out there, like killing motherfuckers. Apparently, like I was reading some stories where they're like, oh yeah, a priest just shoved a 12-year-old down a flight of stairs, and like all kinds of shit like that. You're like, what are you talking about? Like. You're out of your mind. Like, they're literally finding, like, hundreds of bodies or something now, like, buried under these schools or something. So you're like, what if they told you, at Oakland Terrace, they found, 100 kids buried under the school, or under the monkey bars, like, yeah, the teachers just killing motherfuckers, man. They were fucking the rowdy kids. What do you want? Yeah. The 6-year-olds didn't listen.
It'd be utterly insane.
Yeah, you're like, what? But there were only black kids they found, no white kids,
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It'd be completely insane.
It is insane.
All right, so
on that happy note,
sadly, I have more prattling to do. I'm sorry, guys.
Boy.
You guys want to hear a little bit of me, not a lot of me. So next up, this game that I've been addicted to for the last week, playing the open beta or closed beta. I think you just need to own the game to play it, though.
It's pretty.
And that's the game by Amazon Games Studio. The company's lazily called Games for some reason. So Amazon Games Studio, written and created on the Lumberyard engine, which is a modified Crysis engine, basically, or Cry engine, not Crysis engine. The same engine Crysis was made on. And the same engine that Star Citizen is being made on.
Aha! There it is.
Yeah. And this game's called New World. It's in its closed beta right now. A lot of fun. I paid $60 for the deluxe kit to get whatever for free. I don't know. But I thought that was what I needed to pay to get in the closed beta. This game is excellent. Let me just say that. So, I heard about this when they first did the closed alpha, or the preview build. And people talked about it, and they're like, it's amazing. Like, the preview was great. The game had been worked on for like 6 or 7 years, like on the DL. And they released a preview, and people were like, wow, this might be the WoW killer, right? So then they said the beta's coming up, so people got in on the beta, and they, essentially the company games, they just basically tapped the community and listened to the community about what they wanted in the game, what they wanted out of the game, and they made the changes. And dude, the game is great. It's a win, man. I've always wanted to get on the bottom of a beta, like at the very beginning of it. And dude, this game checks all the boxes, man. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Big world, good enemies, good abilities, very well balanced. Um, super enjoyable, man. I can't say more about it. If you want to get into MMO, you want a good one, and maybe you're thinking about Final Fantasy, which I have not played, but it has a bunch of dumbass cutscenes with fucking weird cat people. It looks fucking strange. But, dude, pick up New World, man. It's fun.
When do they wipe the servers and start over with like the actual non-beta?
Actual game goes live August 31st. The beta ends Friday or Saturday of next week. So today's the 25th, so it ends sometime next week. We're about to go into the second week of the 2-week beta. And there's people already at max level who've like raced to level 60. But the overall belief is that they have made it so that you can reach level 60 fairly easily. Not easy. Like if you're willing to play the game for 48 hours straight like a psychopath, and have a whole guild help you level, then you could reach level 60. But they already nerfed the ability that I'm talking about Josh OG, and me and Evan talked about this earlier today, but Josh OG, they already nerfed the way that Josh OG leveled using the community boards. They already nerfed it and made it a half an hour wait between each period, and they'll probably nerf it some more. And they'll probably cut down some of the XP gains you can get off it because it's too powerful. But they're listening, and the game is fun, man. It's enjoyable. It's got open world PvP, but you can tag PvP on and off. It's got great missions, great quest givers. There's a lot to do. I haven't been bored yet, I think now it's like exciting and new. I'm sure, let's say, in a hypothetical 6-month period from now, I'll be bored with the game. But the hope is that they continue to release new content, continue to add new maps or areas to the worlds, and I'm hoping that they've built the game with the addition of more things in mind. I mean, if they learned anything from WoW, it's that you need to add new maps, new worlds, new places, new factions, that kind of thing. So hopefully they have that pre-planned and pre-staged to do that. But the game doesn't have a monthly fee, so I don't know if they're going to be incentivized to do that or not. We'll see how good their store and shit is, because that's how they're going to fund this game after people have all bought it, is through the microtransactions in the store. And if it's not interesting in there, then we can assume that the game is not going to get the support it needs, and it'll be a 1-year, 2-year game, and that'll be it. So I hope not, because it's really good. But yeah, if you want to get an MMO, now's the time. This is a great one. This is a great way to spend. I've gotten my money's worth already out of just the beta alone.
Nice.
Solid.
Looks experience. Like it's bricking video cards.
3090s specifically.
Yeah, there's an issue.
So it's retaliating.
I haven't had any problems. Yeah, I haven't had any problems with it.
Here you go, you rich fuck. Dead.
And I don't think that's a universal problem. I've heard of one streamer who had that problem, and I'm sure other people are having that issue. But there's a lot of weird issues with the game. I mean, it's a beta, so it's full of bugs. Basically, if I want to start up the game, I need to try starting it 4 or 5 times every day. But then the game will be running for like 3 or 4 hours. It'll be good or more before it crashes. And if it crashes, it recovers excellently. I mean, it recovers right where it was. Last night it crashed on me. I couldn't get back in the world. I tried 6 times to get back in the world. Couldn't get back in the world. And then it was like 1 a.m. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to bed. So I went to bed. Woke up this morning to test something. And, or not this morning. At like 3 a.m. last night before I went to sleep, I tried to test something with it. And I went in to see, because I read an article or whatever, and I was able to get in. So, it was right where I logged off at. So the game's fine when it comes to this stuff. I'm not mad at it. They've done a fair amount. They've done a fair job, even though it is a little unstable on the launcher side and the local side. It's the gameplay and the stuff that matters are fine. And it's a beta, so you should expect bugs. But it's so funny. And I mean, this isn't really Evan and Michael. You probably don't really get this because you don't play a lot of games, or the games you play are very well established in the gaming world and they're not new. But most times we're now been trained by game companies that if someone says a beta or early access, you're going to get something less than beta quality. You're going to get basically an alpha or like a semi-stable alpha that's missing a ton of games features, doesn't function properly, all kinds of things. Things need big changes, and it's early access and they charge you full price for it. And you're basically a QA tester. You're an unpaid QA tester.
Right.
So this game is the first game that I played in many, many years that you play a beta, and it's what a beta should be, which is a beta should be feature complete and semi-optimized, if not completely optimized. There should be no more major changes coming. The game should be basically finished. All the game needs now is they need data on video card interactions, type of computer interactions, all that kind of stuff, and then anything that comes up the players find, oh, this gun is kills everybody in 15 seconds flat. It needs to be nerfed. That kind of stuff. Things they can tweak on database side, stuff like that. No major changes though. So that's where this game is at. It's in a great place.
Good. I agree with you. If it's, I would like to see betas be like a trimmed down version of a complete game, basically.
Uh-huh.
Or you have one map instead of 5 that come with the full release or something like that.
Yeah. And by the way, this is the entire game. The whole game is here. There's no missing content. Now there might be people are thinking there's going to be surprise content. I don't know if that's true or not, honestly. I watched Josh's G channel. He's fighting bosses as high as level 60, and they're owning him at level 60. Or he's fighting level 61 bosses, and he's owning him at level 60. So I don't imagine that there's a lot of content missing from the game. We'll see.
Nice.
Okay, so that's it. So let's move on here. What do we got? Marathon.
Yes, I was reminded
This looks
about this game this past week, and I went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, they do make it. So Marathon was a game that originally came out in the 90s, and it was for Macs. It was a Mac-only game.
Yeah.
At least initially. And it was made by Bungie, before Bungie got bought by Microsoft. Bungie used to make games for Mac. And a lot of people, basically Marathon, and it has a couple, it has Marathon 2, and Marathon Infinity, the third game. They are kind of considered the spiritual predecessors of Halo. And if you play these games, you'll see what you'll be like, oh yeah, this kind of looks Halo-ish, And I actually used to play these way back when on my old Macs.
Yeah, I feel like you're the one who told me about this game.
Could be. And I even remember doing a network game after we got a second Mac. Had my little Apple Talk network set up with, not even, and no Ethernet involved. I mean, it was literally, I bought these adapters that plugged into the printer port on the computer. Just kind of like a serial port, but it's round, right? And so you plug one adapter into each port, one on this computer, one on that computer, and then they daisy chain, right? So each adapter has 2 plugs, and their phone line. So you just connect the computers with phone lines with RJ11. But it's so slow. The network, when you do it that way, it's like,
well, yeah,
it's like if you had a Power Mac, I think it was the serial port could get up to 230 kilobits per second, and if it was an older Mac, I think it was 28.8 or 33.6 or something like that. It was pretty slow.
You're in that baud zone.
Yeah.
People are talking about baud. When's the last time you heard someone measure something in baud? Whatever a baud is. What is a baud, Michael?
What is a baud?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is it like a rate of data or something? Like data transfer? I have no idea.
Must be. It must be.
It's the baud rate, right?
Yeah, I don't
know. Baud.
Anyway. So are you going to be playing Marathon? Are you going to play Marathon Infinity? It says online.
Yeah, so I did download all 3. They're pretty small. So, long story short, after Bungie got bought by Microsoft and this and that happened and all this stuff, they ended up releasing all the games for free and the source code and everything. So, people have then since redone everything and now you can download them for Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Nice.
And I put the link in the show notes here to the website where it's all hosted. And you can, so you can download it, and they even made a version for iPad apparently. So it's available in the App Store. And they're real small. I think I downloaded the first Marathon game. It's like under 100 megabytes. They're so old that games weren't very big back then.
That must have been big back then, though. 100 megabytes? That's... How many discs is that? Fucking 70 discs or something like that? That can't be right.
Yeah, I don't know if it came... It might have come on a CD. And maybe you needed... Maybe you installed it on the computer, but it's one of those games where you need to have the CD in the drive. And maybe it reads everything off the CD. I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah.
But it could have been something like that. Because I remember the first computer we had that I would have been playing that game on. The computer only had like a 250 megabyte hard drive, something like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And it was one of the first Macs that started using IDE hard drives. Because Apple was like, we need to reduce costs. Because these machines are too expensive. Because before that, everything was SCSI.
SCSI, right? Yeah.
I think the CD drive in that computer, though, was still SCSI. So.
I mean, it's probably true, the CD drive. I remember for a very long time, well after you probably were using your Mac, we were selling lacy, SCSI CD-ROM drives at conferences.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're a big, I guess they make stuff for everyone, but really, I think it's targeted at Mac people.
Yeah.
That brand. Yeah, we had a few hard drives from them. External hard drives. Good stuff.
Yeah, we sold some. A lacy.
Well, I have one or two laying around here somewhere. Still using them.
Nice.
Yeah, they still make hard drives. They're still around.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're still around. I mean, you make quality stuff. You're gonna.
You remember those monitors they had with the hood?
No, I don't.
Yeah, they used to make a CRT monitor, and it was like, it comes with like the calibration shit and all that stuff, and it even had like a hood, so you like reduce the outside light, so like.
Oh, like a little plastic barrier around the front of the thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was lacy.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yep.
All
right, so that's Marathon. Now we're talking.
Yum update. Yeah, this is fun.
So James, I think you started this conversation yesterday, but I remember seeing this article earlier. This year. Let's see, it's dated April 10th, so I saw it a couple months ago. That Jerry's. So here's what happened. James said, "What the hell is this?" And he showed us took a picture of a place. It looks exactly like a Jerry's Subs and Pizza, down to the font of the sign and everything. But it's called Jay's Subs and Pizza, and his is Jey. Okay? Then this article from April is saying that the Jerry's Subs and Pizza in Aspen Hill is becoming Jay's Subs and Pizza, Jay. So I guess Jerry's is a franchise, and I guess these people are leaving the franchise. I don't know, but they still want to have a sub shop,
Right, and they want to trick people.
So there you go.
You know what's funny? The guy who posted this link, they say earlier today, Ben Lesnick tweeted us the DoorDash account, blah blah whatever. So this guy, I have known this guy lived here in this area for the longest time. He is Ben Lesnick, the original community manager for Robert Space Industries.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and he moved back here because I think someone in his family died. I think he still works for them, but he's from Montgomery County. I've talked to him on Twitter about Errol's. He reminisces about Errol's all the time. So yeah. He's a cool guy. He's actually a pretty cool guy.
So it's funny. It says, when this rebranding becomes official, it would leave just one Jerry's in Montgomery County, located on Colesville Road in Silver Spring. So that's the one right up the street here. So that one was actually moved from. It was over on 16th Street in that little shopping center. That has since everything's been moved and that shopping center's been demolished to make room for the Purple Line. So they moved the Jerry's over here right onto Colesville, like where, I don't know if anyone knows where Qdoba was, but it's right there in the same building. And Qdoba's gone, unfortunately. I used to actually go to, I guess I was the only one going to that Qdoba, but because they're gone now. So, yeah, very interesting. And get this. The first Jerry's ever was on University Boulevard in Wheaton. Opened in 1954. The company had once had over 100 restaurants in the Mid-Atlantic region, but would be down to 10 once the Aspen Hill store officially rebrands.
So this is another piece of nostalgia that we all need to patronize before they completely go away, right?
Yeah. Get another sandwich, the Beast or whatever. Like the fucking monstrosity. Yeah. Oh man, I remember they used to have ads for this on the radio. You know, I used to hear ooh Jerry's. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in a PC modem, right? Is that the guy's name, James?
Yeah, PC mode.
CompUSA.
Yep.
Oh man. Back in the day, man. How about that? So yeah. Did you go to that Jay's?
No.
Oh.
I went there when it was a Jerry's like a year and a half ago.
That's funny. All right. Well, that's all I have to say about Jay's Sub Shop.
Okay. Semi-food related, but jumping down to the extra section here, Mike has a quick picture of a vessel for holding the bags of milk that you will find in many Canadian households.
I'll have to ask my mom about that.
Put the bag in there. You cut off the corner.
I don't remember that at all, but maybe it's a thing and I just didn't take notice of it. Who knows? I will ask.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's weird.
Of course, when she was growing up, milk was a privilege not afforded to the First Nations, so maybe this was not part of her life.
I mean, it probably came from out of a cow.
Well,
they probably went and fetched milk.
She's old enough that it was delivered to their door in glass bottles, you know?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
But, I mean,
So she's not actually old enough to truly enjoy it from the udder. She falls in the middle there.
Another 20 years back, and probably, but I mean, she lived there long enough that they probably, if she was around and they were doing this, I mean, she was probably around when they started transitioning this. I was reading, it looks like they started doing it in the 70s when Canada started transitioning to metric. Actually, it was around the same time. Yeah, so Canada was once on the, I guess it's called the imperial system. That
Makes
we're
sense.
on
The correct way of numbers, right?
we're on. So
And ever since, their country has been going downhill. So we're doing the right thing.
Some people might disagree with that, but that's fine.
They are also wrong.
All right. So I got a couple things down here in the extras section. James, this one's for you. The first one, progress.
Mm-hmm.
A breeder in the Netherlands has been working to make the French Bulldog a healthier breed. And they show a picture of a regular French Bulldog, how they normally are, with the kind of the flattened nose or the flattened face. And then what the guy is trying to do now, and it's a much more conventional looking animal with a standard snout.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I love the comments. I've tasked myself with how to unfuck this dog.
And the next one's like, yeah.
Ironically,
it's going to involve a lot of dog fucking. And so it's like, this is a circle of life. To unscrew the pooch.
God.
Yeah.
Dude, this is if you're not familiar with Reddit, something very similar that happens in Reddit is someone will post something and it may be only tangentially connected, or it might only be a mention of something that sort of sounds like a song lyric, or it is a song lyric, but it's not intentional. So this guy says, the circle of life, and then the next person says, and it moves us all. The next person says, through despair and hope. The next person, through faith and love, till we find our place on the path of unwinding, the circle of life.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing?
And what?
That's Lion
Dude, Reddit
King.
is full of this shit.
Is that
it's
Lion
great.
King? Okay.
Yeah.
It's from the Lion King, yeah. It's great, but it's so
I knew they were
funny.
doing a thing. I just didn't know what it was because obviously I've never seen Lion King. So, but yeah, it's fine.
They're weird.
And this I meant to bring this up a while ago, but for some reason I don't think it ever came up. James, correct me if I'm wrong. Chris Hansen. Arrest warrant out for TV personality Chris Hansen after failing to appear in Michigan court.
Don't say for child molestation.
That was my first thought as well.
It says no, someone's like suing him or something for footage. You know, like it's like related to his show.
Well, I know somebody died. Someone killed himself.
Really?
A while back. That's where the show ended, yeah. I don't know if that's a rumor or not. I mean, it's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. It might be bullshit. But I heard that they caught a guy, they doing what he did, and when he realized what was happening, he just killed himself.
Oh, like right there in front of everyone?
I don't know if it was right there in front of everyone or in another room, or he was somebody that would get out of the house and kill himself. I don't know, but he killed himself.
All right. Well, the only other things I have are the Zumwalt class destroyer. Got a link to that. Link to the Vessel Finder website at vesselfinder.com. And a link to the fake Native American guy, Jamake Highwater. Is that his name? Yeah, Jamake, or however you say it. I don't know. But Highwater. Born as Jackie Marks. Yeah, jeez. How about that? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is. It's something else.
Yeah, Rachel Dolezal or whatever her name is not the first.
No, she's not the innovator. I saw a weird thing, and I'm not gonna go into it but it was weird. It was a
cool story, bro.
A guy talking about. Well, no, a guy was talking about why you can't. He was giving reasoning as to why you can't claim you're another race. And he said the implication of saying I identify as another race is racist in itself, because it implies that there's something about that race. Huh?
Nothing.
It implies that we're making an Always Sunny joke.
Yeah.
So it implies that there's something about that race to identify to. You know what I mean? Like there's some inherent trait or something that you can, whatever. I don't know.
Big lips.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know. But he was basically, it was a counter argument to a conservative on TikTok saying, oh, if you can claim to be another gender, I can claim to be another race. And those things, this one makes the other one okay. And his explanation was fine. I was like, okay, I get that. But his explanation of gender, and I wish I could play it for you, but I watched it and I was kind of and I left it open on my computer, my screen for a while, and then I just kind of said, fuck it, I'm not going to worry about it. I started to reply to it, and I was like, no, stop. But he says, and this kind of, I'm going to repeat this just to open people's eyes about this, about about the way that maybe people on that side of it feel about this. But he said he was trying to explain from top to bottom why you can change gender. And he said, changing gender, you can change gender because gender is something you feel. That's what he said. He said it like that. And I was like, well, I never felt male or female. Someone told me as a child when I was not even, someone told my mother, someone spread my little legs as a baby and said, There's a ding-dong there. He's male. That's it. You know? It's not like when I was a teenager, somebody said, okay, we're assigning gender now today. Male, female, male, female, male, female. And then all of a sudden I grew a dick. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, the way I feel about all this, because someone's going to listen to this and be like, I give a shit about this. I don't actually care about it. I care about science, and I care about whatever, but I don't care what people do with their bodies. If you want to cut your penis off and say you're a woman, or keep your penis and say you're a woman, or grow or keep your tits and keep your vagina and say you're a man, that's perfectly fine. I don't really care what you do. Maybe I'll be attracted to you. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. But it's just, you know, it's okay to recognize that you were assigned your gender not by a doctor saying, I feel like this should be male, and not by someone on the street saying, you look masculine to me, so you're a male, but by the fact that you carry a piece of equipment that only males carry or only females carry. You know? I think that's perfectly okay to say that. And it's also okay to say, even though I am at birth assigned male, I feel female, so that's okay. It's okay. But let's not try to change facts to be like, oh, well, gender's only a feeling. Like, maybe it's a feeling on the back end, but it's not a feeling on the front end. Like, on the front end, you're not even an ego. You're just a blob. You're an unconscious blob until you're like 2 years old. Of babbling fucking food consumption machine.
Sup?
Motivated by instinct and bullshit.
Still there, baby. No.
Yeah, no, you still are, yeah.
Still operating on those basic principles.
It's like eat, shit, cry, sleep. Sup?
Basically. Yep. Sometimes occasionally fuck is thrown in there. That's really it. Okay. Well, you guys got any alibis, any last minute goodies for us?
Nope.
Michael?
I'm shaking my head in the negative. For us audio listeners.
All right.
For those audio listeners.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for coming to our show today. If you saw us on YouTube, great. You're lucky. Not enough people are watching us there. Please like and subscribe to the video. It helps the show. If you listen to us on the podcast, great. Go to YouTube and watch us on YouTube again. Give us those view counts, like and subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. But just to go like and subscribe. Subscribe to the show on the channels. Like, follow us and like us on iTunes. iTunes ratings obviously help the show get out there. So if you're listening on iTunes, help us there. Anywhere where you see it, just give us a like, give us a heart or a bump or whatever. If you're listening to us on SoundCloud, do whatever SoundCloud tells you to do. I think it's a favorite, you know. It all helps the show. If you want to follow us outside of the podcast, you can follow us on Twitch, where maybe we'll do something one day. Twitter, where we do anything on Twitter, Michael, anymore?
We should.
I think maybe there's an automated message on Twitter.
If there isn't, I will make sure there is.
Yeah. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, obviously, all those places you can follow the show. Check us out. You could just go in the search bars, type in IL Panel Podcast, all one word. Obviously, you can go to our website, ilpanelpodcast.com. If you want to follow us, if you want to check out the site, if you want to email us at feedback@ilpanelpodcast.com. That way you can get to us. All of us get those emails. We all reply to them. One of our favorite fans, Randy, sends us all kinds of hate mail all the time, questioning things I've said, re-correcting me, and all kinds of things. So another place you can find us is in Discord, where we are. I am all the time. Evan is online, maybe not necessarily in Discord, but you can get a Discord link from our website. Go over on the right side of the page, Social Life panel, down at the bottom. It says Discord. It's the last one before live. You go there, click on that. It'll give you a Discord link. You make a little username and password for Discord. It's free. And you can chat with us. We have video chats and all kinds of things. Come check us out. You know, we talk about stocks and give poor financial advice and computers. A lot of computer talk with some very smart people in there. So definitely check it out, guys. As always, we appreciate you coming on and listening to our show. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, I'm James, and for the show and the cast, we're out.
Sometimes I'm selfish, get jealous, I feel a little